Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings, where I will ramble on for possibly the next 3 hours. There's not a lot of news to really be honest, but we never seem to have too much of an issue. I say we're not going to hit 3 hours, but we normally do. But I really don't have a lot. And if I don't have a lot, it's perfectly fine because I've been on a lot once again this week already starting off. So, anyway, uh, thank you for everyone for joining on this wonderful Monday kicking off. Again, I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. I hope everyone enjoyed their 4th of July. Even the people that now hate our wonderful country. We know there's a lot of you out there. Anyway, I hope you guys all still enjoyed your day off. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. Anyway, I had a pretty good weekend. You've probably seen I was out there. I tried doing a little bit of skating, which wasn't the. It was so hot on Saturday when I went out. But anyway, 4th of July. It's nice to. It's nice just to get a day off. It's wonderful to have that Friday off when you go really long on a Thursday with the friends, so you don't have to really worry about waking up in the morning. And I know we went pretty late. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so 4th of July, had the day off, went and actually spent it with my I go to my ex's families all the time with my daughter, and the son didn't want to go, of course, because he's 19 and or almost 19, and he doesn't like to do anything with the family as it is. So we went over there, and then what's kind of become this weird tradition with Olivia and myself. She always seems to be with me on the 4th of July. Is we normally go to this one specific place, actually, where I'll be this Friday for jury duty to see if I get selected. But we go there and look for fireworks because it's big open field and you can see all the neighborhoods. And we went there, and Olivia had the bright idea to bring Roman, which probably was not a great idea because he just wants to move around. But we went and go searching for fireworks. And to be 100% honest, I don't think either one of us really enjoy it, but it's kind of like our own little tradition that we go and do. So we have fun going and doing it. It's crazy to have a 16-year-old daughter that actually still enjoys doing things with her dad. So I'm going to enjoy that as long as I can. Saturday came around and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I kind of woke up. I don't like skateboarding early in the morning, but I was like, hell, you know what? Let's see if we can go skateboarding. I hit up my buddy Shane, who you probably saw in the video. It was extremely hot at 10:30 in the morning, approaching in the 90s. I mean, I was just absolutely drenched. Just absolutely drenched, like you wouldn't believe. And it was hard. So I think we skated for about an hour. But I brought that Stinger along with his tactician and the Stinger driver. And I had an idea to see if I could roll it down that bank and go over that little hump there. And I didn't make it, but I think it made for a pretty good short, and people actually enjoyed it. That's the first short that did really well. It did like over 30,000. I think it had to do with the yelling the Cobra and then yelling "oh shit" at the end. So it was a lot of fun. No, there was no one else there, so taking pictures in a skate park, which is something I normally would frown upon if it's not skateboarding pictures, but there was no one else there until I was wrapping it up. So, but anyway, had a good time there. And then, believe it or not, I got my daughter to go swimming for about an hour and a half, and we went to the beach and just had a blast. But then just kind of decompressed off of YouTube. Take this whole weekend, well, until Sunday night, and then just did a little bit of work around. So it was nice having a nice weekend away from. I mean, I still create videos, but getting away from the live streams, at least until Sunday night, when I'm with Hella Dope Toys. So if you guys missed that, Hella Dope Toys, that's Ted and Aaron. You guys probably know them from Mossman videos, and obviously where you can save 10% on all your toys if you use code APWT to get your 10% off. But they asked myself, this guy, Mikey, JMK Customs, my moderator, Ed Action Figs, and Radnom to jump on, talk about Joe Fest. A couple of them talked about what's the other one? DFW. So good time, a lot of fun this weekend. So anyway, that's kind of how my weekend wrapped up. Again, I always like, I don't know, I like tell you guys what's going on my weekend, so you guys kind of tune in for, right? But anyway, let's get into it. Let's say hi to everyone that's here. There's 60 people watching right now, so please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. It's the best way to support the channel. I definitely appreciate it. So let's see if we can get through everyone that is here. We have Triple D's Dungeon, which is Daredevil Dave, Same Time Toys. We have Sub Beers in the house. Johnny Reno, who I have to say once again, thank you very much, Johnny. He sent me a whole bunch of the O-ring stuff to continue on with the classic reviews. And not only that, I don't know, he must watch some of the older videos that I've done, my walkthroughs, and he sees figures I don't have, and he sends me all kinds of O-ring. So Johnny, Cages Customs, thank you so much. I can't even express how much you're helping me out with this and being able to make this into like probably a 2 or 3 year long video series. Cut Krusty Old Crow is here. We have GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. We have Graf here, US Combat Dojo. We have Menhoza, who is a true friend of mine. Never forget that. Cal Shave is here. Whoo! We have Matthew Matson jumping in here saying, and we're waiting. Matthew, you seem to have forgotten something. I'm going to look for it. But, you know, they moved all kinds of stuff around. And it might be actually easier, but... Yes, StreamYard moved all kinds of things around in the back end, and it's kind of weird right now. So Eric Thurman is here. There's my other moderator, Action Fix, who I got to spend some time with last night on Hella Dope Toys. We have David R. Tripwire 788. We have Snow Wolf, MTC, Roll Keeper, Rad Toys Galaxy, who I spent a day, well, not a whole day with, but a Wednesday after Joe Fest with. Awesome that he's actually close in the area, so when he heads over here, we can hang out a little bit. We have Derek Holloman. We have Ronnie Trickshot saying, good day, Lawrence. Good day, friends, all the way from Australia. Machine Man is here. Whew. See, now I'm starting. See, I don't highlight this like the other YouTubers. I just go off my memory, which we know pretty much sucks. Speaking of Tripwire, I just want to say, if you guys don't have the classified Tripwire, he is on Amazon for like $29 right now, which that is a damn good figure. And I believe he was 33 on Pulse because he was a Pulse exclusive. And that is a really damn good figure if you don't have it. So pick that up if you haven't already. Steve Martin is here. Jay Astro. Whew. We have Turk Murphy Toy Solution, and then we have Gady's Toy, which I gotta mention. Gady's Toys, he was supposed to be my guest this Thursday, but he did have a scheduling conflict, and because, you know, hey, I don't pay people to show up here. I've already worked it out. Talib 1980 will be joining me instead. He's just going to switch spots. And Andrew from Gady's Toys will be my guest next week, next Thursday. So I was just glad that he reached out to me instead of waiting till like the last day. Not saying him in general, but I'd hate for somebody to do that. Again, I appreciate anyone that can give me their time. So if you're looking forward to Gady's, Andrew, if you're looking forward to Andrew this week, it'll be next week. Talib will be joining me this week. So Cowshave says, my 17-year-old daughter went kayaking with me. I was cherishing every second. You know, again, I don't know how it is with, you know, with your daughter. My daughter, she actually loves spending time with me, and she likes spending time with her mom too. I actually was talking to her. I go, does it bother you? I mean, like, you're a 16-year-old girl, and she's like, I don't care. Like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna appreciate it for as long as I can and enjoy it. Uh, Rachel Salinas, who is not Rachel, if you didn't know. Capitan here. Len, who I don't. I always say I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, and then I do. Shrivenit. I don't know. Today's not a good day. Baldy Locks Reviews is here. We have Medic 1849, Richard Burns. We have Tony's Figs, Rowdy Riles, who did say that she wants to have me on her show sometime. So I'm holding her to it. So whenever you're ready, you let me know. Ted Darklaw, once again, I got to say thank you to you and Aaron for having us on last night. Aaron kept us on way too long. No, poor Aaron just kind of sat there like, just so you guys know, the stuff that happens backstage, I wish we could record that type of stuff because that's the stuff that would make an amazing show. Though Ted was probably fast asleep. We have Evil Dookie joining us. Ted Knight saying, "Hey, Punk, back from my three-week vacation. What did I miss? Probably nothing, other than the Haslab. But we'll get to talk about it because it seems like there's a lot of people that are a little upset about it, and we're going to talk about whether or not it was the right pick or not. Jason S is here. Let's see here. Did I say Machine Man? Did you hear my son downstairs yelling? Of course you did. Russell Lemieux is here. I wanted the Havoc. We'll talk about it. GI Jetman, Roll Keeper, who I think I already said. I think we are. I think we're starting to get to the end here. Rowdy says a Saturday at the end of the month, beginning of next month. I'll message you soon. You just let me know, and as long as I am free that day, which means as long as I don't have anything to do with my kids or anything like that, I am more than welcome to jump on with you. Plastic Skulls is here. Jamie Garcia, Lightfoot. Ted Darklaw saying, so fucking glad I left. And a Lego Star Wars Kids. All right. Now I said hi to everyone. I know a lot of you may wonder, like, hey, why do you waste going through saying hi to everyone? You know what? People really do enjoy it. And it takes a little bit of time. Plus, I try and fill 3 hours of time, so it just fills a little bit of time. And look, Payne's Toy Sample is jumping in here saying, hey kids, we don't see Payne too often. Payne, I hope you're doing wonderful. I know you don't do a lot of toy content anymore, but I hope you're still big into collecting, man. And then we have Dustin Jeffrey would back the Snowcat if didn't just pay off a shit ton of medical bills. And that, again, that is something completely different when it comes to backing these things. And not even just backing, but buying anything. $325. That's not cheap. And whatever somebody can afford, if they deem that it's not worth it, I understand. But if you have things that are more important, like medical bills, you got to take care of that stuff. You really do. But the complaining is what is absolutely amazing. But we're gonna get into that just towards the end of the show. I promise you guys that. So anyway, I want to say thank you to Quip, who joined me last Thursday, one half of Geek Dad Live, which is on the Geek Dad Life show, run by Jay Gladfeld. I think I said that right. So check that out. He was, when I first had him on early on, I said, how much time do you have? We went over everything. An hour, maybe hour and a half. I'm like, all right, well, and I let everyone kind of decide. Like, we just kind of see where it goes. And that's what everyone says. Hey, let's just see where it goes. And next thing you know, you're at almost 4 hours. And again, I feel like we could have continued to go on. And I in all honesty, he was a wonderful interview. A wonderful. I don't even like calling them interviews anymore. They're just conversations that I'm having. I think that's why everything goes so easy. I've talked to a few people, and to the people, and I'm not going to mention your names. There's been a few people that have reached out and said, hey, you know what? I was really nervous to come on, and you made everything so easily, so easy to talk to. And I again, yes, I'm just an easy person to talk to. But again, all we're doing is talking toys. So uh, hopefully, everyone that comes on enjoys it, has an easy time talking. So let's see here. Son of a Crayon Slayer is jumping in here. Did I say MTC? I don't think I did. I had a rare opportunity to get the Rattler. Uh, I'm waiting for mine. Uh, Payne says, just got Footloose and Heavy Duty. Been making good choices in my collection. Joe focused for most part. Only bought 6 figures in the last 6 months. Yeah, me too. I'm just kidding. We have Cobra Emperor jumping in here saying Snowcat in black or camouflage. You should have asked the color. I could go on all day with that. I mean, there's so many different things that, so many different colors. I did see the picture of the green, one that someone painted green or made green using Photoshop. I thought that looked really good. I think the idea of having a different color one would have been pretty cool, but logistically, I can only imagine the nightmare that it may actually create. Raw Talk, Raw Deal says Haslabs are supposed to be grand. Why not a Terradrome? I mean, they still make Barbie doll house playsets. Look in the girls' toddler aisles. Well, I guess there's a lot of things that can be said about that. And I've talked about making a Terradrome. I mean, I brought that up before. To do a half a Terradrome, and if you bought 2 of them, you can put them back to back to make a full one. Each one comes with a fire bat, so no matter what, if you buy 2 to put back to back, you end up with 2 fire bats. It's a neat idea. I would probably back 2 of them if it's in a price range. But again, there's a lot of logistics that people have to look at. There's no doubt about that. Jason S says, I've been working my way back through the Thursday shows and really enjoying them. Thank you very much. That's what they're there for. They're there because I want people to be able to go back, and there's a reason why I've never had a return guest yet. That's because we try and talk about their whole life. But if you go back and watch some of the early ones, I didn't have my formula down, the style that I have come accustomed to and really enjoy doing. Tony and I have talked about it, and I am going to go back probably in 2026 and probably start adding 1 a month to talk to people that I've talked to before. Because a lot has changed, believe it or not. We have War Chest full of toys saying, I thought I was going to have to break down, but Punk's sweet voice made me relax. Cobra Emperor says, see, Punk is an amazing guy, family man, and loves his toys too. I mean, I like my family. I like my toys. I sometimes like my family. Sometimes they make me mad. But don't... Tripwire says, my problem with the Haslab is that there isn't much going on with the vehicle accessories. It's all with the figures in that campsite. However, I must say the prototype looks way better than pics. I'm not sure what you mean, because the prototype is kind of the pics that we saw. So I'm a little confused. With that. I'll say this. I think it looks way better than what I was assuming it was going to look like. And again, we've talked about it. And I mean, we talked about it to death, but I wanted to have a different angle on it. I want to have a little bit of a different angle on it. Jay Astro says, Punk is the Dr. Phil of toy tubers. I was going to say, I don't think so, but some of the stuff that has been thrown at me, maybe, but I don't think anyone's ever come off as a total asshole to me when I've been talking to them. So I don't think it. But anyway, Russell Lemieux says, "Does it come with hydraulics?" No, you have to make it do the Eddie Guerrero bounce on your own. All right. But anyway, what I was saying was, thank you to Quip. Then this week, I was you guys wouldn't believe this. I write my notes down, right? And I wrote down thank you to Quip, and I said, uh, you know, this week. And honestly, as I wrote this week down, and I even sent it over to him, Andrew had sent me a message saying, "Oh crap, something came up. I can't do this Thursday." And I was like, "Hey, cool. Let me see if I can switch it up." And I sent him a picture. I was literally in the process. I had wrote down this week and sent him a picture, and he was like, "Wow, you really prepare." I just wing it. I'm like, this is just my opening. All right. I wing everything else. I think most of you guys know that. Um, so anyway, this week I will have Talib on. You know him from Figure Fight Club. He's now one of the 3 co-hosts on that. I know he is on. He goes on Tuesdays also, mostly for their open mic night. So it's gonna be. It's going to be a good talk, I'm sure. And then I'm looking forward to, again, talking with Andrew from 80s Toys the following week. So, anyway, but Andrew, I definitely do appreciate the fact that you reached out to me rather than waiting to the last day and saying something. So, Dark Eon saying, Vala, cash me out. How about now? I guess I don't buy Vala stuff. So, he's always made some nice looking stuff, but not something I collect anymore. So this week we have Circle of Jerks. I'm not really sure what our topic is, even though we kind of discussed it a little bit. But check us out tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Myself, Baldy Locks, Toy Optics, the Island Viper, who is now Action Media, and possibly Tony. I'm not sure if Tony is going to be on. Actually, I'm pretty sure Tony won't be on. I'm pretty sure Tony won't be on this Tuesday. So, but he may. If he does, then great. Allison jumping in here saying, "I like those Valaverse O-rings. I might get the woman's figure. Go for it, man. I'm sure the quality is going to be the same as like Delta 17 and everyone else is doing it, man." Clint Jorgensen says Brian Flynn is a Thursday with a friend I can't wait for. Well, you're gonna be waiting a long time. It is Thursday with a friend. Remember that. All right. Give me 1 second here. All right. What did I want to mention here? Yeah, so I said thank you to Hella Dope. So this was something that was done a while back, and I've never shown it. And Darren, 3-star draw, was just kind of messing around, and he was messing around with AI, and he did something that I thought was actually kind of fun. I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of it, but what really made me remember it was all the AI that Spec has been doing. The Toy Optics, he's the one who does all that AI stuff on Circle of Jerk. He kind of throws it up. And they said for some amount of reason, AI wants to make you look like the old uncle. Because we all have like our own specific looks. And I remembered that Darren had done, right? So this is obviously myself and Roman that he somehow put into some AI generated. But he went much further and he created a whole file card. Now I don't know if he's done this for other people. I don't know what we were chatting about, but he threw this all together, and I meant to show it. As you can see, again, people know my last name and they know my first name. I just figured if you don't, I'll let you figure it out yourself. But anyway, he does a YouTube host, codename a Punk with Toys, codename Roman. He gives like this whole cool backstory. So I wanted to give him a little bit of credit because I kind of, I completely forgot. I know that may shock some of you guys, but I get so much of this stuff going on in my head. But he works the whole, living in, I'm going to say Detroit. I'm not from Detroit, so I don't want any Detroiters to come in here and be like, that guy doesn't live in Detroit. You're right. I live like 8 miles out of Detroit. But for the for entertainment purposes, it's easier to tell someone who doesn't live here that I'm from Detroit, right? But we're from Michigan. Talks about Stalker, recruiting me finding Roman. Now, just so you know, that is a fully made up story about how I got Roman. I did not save him from anyone. He was, I guess technically he was a rescue, but he was a rescue from someone that they needed to get rid of him. And they asked him. I was like, if he's good with my kids, and let's be honest, he's been a godsend. But anyway, so I actually thought that this was actually pretty cool, and I forgot to bring it up, and it's kind of just been sitting there. So I want to kind of pull this up really quick. Give 3-star draw a big thank you for it. I know I told him thank you, but I'll let you guys read it, and then you can pause it. I'm not going to try and read it for you guys because it's only a 3-hour show. So anyway, that's a big thank you to 3-star draw for that. So, all right. This week, well, I don't know about this week, but from what I can tell, I have been charged for the firefighter from Haslab Pulse. So the firefighter should be coming soon. Again, they usually charge you, and it usually goes out fairly soon after that. Allison says, nobody lives in Detroit. Most people just barely survive and are stuck there. Detroit is the New Jersey of the Midwest. Well, less and less people live in Detroit, but believe me, people do live there. Steve Martin says, you live on 8 Mile. There's a movie about that. Yes, there is. But I do not live on 8 Mile. I grew up on 16 Mile, believe it or not, 8 miles out of Detroit. That's why when people ask, I'm like, I live about 8 miles out of Detroit. We have mile roads. So, but yeah. Todd sees, how did you end as Mutt? Thought you were Leatherneck. That's how the AI did it. All right. I think he was going for that. But again, it's one of those really weird things because when Spec does the AI algorithm and he modifies it too, it was something he said that's just how it comes out. And if you look at all of us, whether it be Baldy, Spec, Tony's actually kind of funny, to be honest, when his stuff comes up. He looks completely different. Johnny Reno says that Cobra sign. Well, isn't there a blue one at times? There you go. Happy Johnny. You sent me stuff, so I changed it for you. Into Mystery, he says, Mom Spaghetti. I've actually never seen the movie. I mean, I know about it, but I've never actually seen the movie. I know enough about Detroit and know enough about Eminem. So, what?
Where's your friend?
What friend?
Oh, it's not Thursday.
Yeah, no, it's not Thursday. Good job. Nothing like having your daughter come in and ask where your friend is, and then say it's not Thursday. Will R jumping here saying Paul sending the firefighter before Amazon. What in the Jeff Bezos is going on? Well, you never really know. So, but that's kind of smart. All right. So just so you guys all know, my daughter is going to be taking a shower soon because. Okay, well now everyone can hear you talking everything.
Okay, I don't care. The toilet flush is up.
All right, bye. Love you.
That wasn't a fart.
Oh my gosh. Does anyone want a child? I'll even pay for the shipping. So anyway, okay, quickly before we get into it, poor Brittany Murphy. Yeah. And then Eric Thurman coming in, member for 15 months. I think he was trying to get in because I think he thought Olivia was right here and he wanted to get a live. Are you still there, Liv? She walked away. So I'm going to give you, sorry about this, a...
Fucking Phil Collins.
I think you were trying to get a live, but she walked away. I'd say fortunately. um, uh, they can be for sure. And Derek Holloman also coming in with a member for 16 months. So you get a
Fucking Phil Collins.
all right. Okay, so the firefighter is shipping real soon. And it made me think of a topic. And I see people getting early reviews out, and that's fine. But I think the topic for next week, and I normally don't talk about this, but and it's gonna be like no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit if we get it early or not, and no one wants to hear us complain. If you're able to get something early, then great. But no one cares if we overspend and we get screwed. Um, nobody wants to hear the whining and crying that the algorithms broke or so and so now is also buying them from overseas. So that's going to be the topic for next week is YouTubers who do reviews and basically like the fact that no one gives two shits, and we're going to discuss that. So again, like I ordered these. I don't think I talked about this. These finally came, right? And I ordered them. They were supposed to be here before Joe Fest, and well, they came out of nowhere. So it's going to be an interesting topic. I'm part of that, getting stuff early, and I want to discuss it. So maybe it can put some ease at some of these people who are trying to get ahead, trying to get stuff early. We all get screwed. And sometimes, sometimes we win them, sometimes we don't. And Allison jumping in here with a Phil Collins. So she gets a
Fucking Phil Collins.
She's been a member for 26 months. I believe she's my oldest member. Not in her age, but the oldest per se. Anyway, as for the classic reviews that I'm continuing on, if you were watching last week, we got into series 4, Airtight, Crankcase, and the All Striker, which the All Striker did absolutely wonderful. I have to say, I'm so excited that so many of you guys are really enjoying the classic reviews. It's fun to go downstairs, get the stuff out of the basement. I've showed you guys before. I think it's right here. I literally have everything written down through 2025 into 2026 through series 5 of everything that I'm going to be doing. So, and then this week, if you're a channel member, you've seen them already. They've already populated. I have, let's see, who do I have coming out? Oh yeah, the Cobra Snow Serpent, the Eels, and the Night Landing, which I have to say once again, thank you to Johnny Reno, who was able to send me a couple pieces for the Night Landing that I know I no longer have. So that's great. And so right now I'm kind of inundated with a bunch of O-rings around me. And if you don't know, I try and do it with having like 2 figures on Wednesday and Saturday, and then I try and do a vehicle for Sunday. And I try and make that vehicle adjacent with the figure that is dropped on Saturday. So, and then quickly we have, let's see, JLS comic jumping here saying, "What's up, everyone?" Evo Dookie saying, "I'd rather spend dollars on figs and dials than just trying to get a fig early." And again, that's some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. But a lot of it goes to, you know what? No one really gives two shits. Like, no one cares that I spent that I bought this figure twice, or both those figures twice, so I could get it out. Something that I've chosen to do. But there's a lot of people that want to whine and cry, and they complain about it, and it's like, dude, this is something you chose to do. Like, people are here to see you, so it doesn't really matter when you do it. But it's going to be an interesting topic, I think. Just something that kind of popped up in my head. So quickly here, we have a
Fucking Phil Collins.
because MTC has been a member for 24 months, and then my moderator has been a member for 22 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
And there you go. Another fucking Phil Collins, which I have to once again say thank you to Gaz for that story coming out. And now we have a fucking Phil Collins for everything. You gotta love that, man. Like, poor Phil Collins, man. The guy's just like drumming along, literally drumming along, trying to make his way. Well, they're trying. Yeah, guy makes way more money than I do, so I don't think he's trying to make his way. He's doing pretty good himself. Dustin Jeffrey says, I don't care if someone gets a figure early. I'm going to watch yours, Bobby B's, and Annuity B's review every single time. Bingo! You fucking nailed it. Dustin, that's one of the things I'll definitely be hitting on. I know people like to see stuff early. I mean, I'm going to discuss the whole thing as I've gone over numerous times, but people want to hear what certain people have to say, right? I'm not going to sit there and do that whole like, oh, I didn't realize people like to hear me. Like, I know people are watching me. So, it's definitely one of those things where, people are interested. So if they like hearing your voice, 95 of you are here right now. Please hit that like button. You're going to tune in even if the figure is a little old. I mean, hell, I'm doing classic reviews and people are tuning in. But then again, people tune in to see this guy right here. Right, Roman? look at that face. Look at that. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're handsome. Anyway, like there he is right there too. All right. And then here's a guy that I have not seen for quite some time, but look at this. He has been a member for 18 months. Mastoversal Toy Hunter. Great to see you here. I have not seen you. First off, you're going to get a...
Welcome to the creamery.
Just because I haven't seen you in a long time, and you also get a...
Fucking Phil Collins.
I hope you're doing well. Like I said, I haven't seen you in a while, so it's great to see you here. And now Roman is whining. Go find someone else, buddy. Come on, there's 2 other people here that can let you out. Do you need to go out? Okay. Go see Olivia. Go see Olivia. All right. Hold on, I gotta yell for a child. Conquest Productions 117 saying hello. All right, now, Matthew, you don't have to do the research. Unless if you changed your name, I know you have never jumped in here and said hi. At least I don't think you have. So thank you. Love to have new people in here. Great to see you. Woo. All right. Let's see here. Wow, I missed a lot of chats. But this is what happens when you ramble on. And do you know when I first started doing this? It was in the first couple months. Someone had made a comment and they said 5 minutes into this, and this guy's just rambling on. And I had to laugh and was like, dude, it's literally in the name, Monday Night Toy Ramblings. So yeah. I was just rambling on, and that's when I didn't have anything prepared, believe it or not. And Conquest saying, nope, just tuned in. Well, you know what? It's great to have you. Great to have the new people. Yeah, even Matthew jumping in here saying, thank you, Conquest Production. So great to have you here. Alex Smith. Actually, I don't know if it's Alex Smith. I think we've discussed this. It's not Alex Smith. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. And then we have Nogen, the 10th tier sold to me. I think that sold a lot of people. And again, I think when we get to the Haslab, I think a lot of people are going to definitely, that's what people want. They really do. And I think if it hits that tier, and I don't think it's not going to, that's going to be definitely one of those things. How we're going to see that later on in the actual bivouac, the bivouac look. So before I get on with the news, I would like to say, as I look at my analytics before I start the show, there's a cool analytic that you can go in and you can see how many people actually hit the remind me button. So it's always interesting to see like how the channel has grown, how many people are actually hitting the remind me. But the one thing I noticed was on this, before it even started, I had already lost 1 subscriber on this video before it even started. So, and I probably had a thumbs down too. Those are my favorite too. But anyway, thank you to that person for the engagement that they produced. As for before we get into the news, like I say, check out the sponsors, Hella Dope Toys. If you haven't used Hella Dope Toys yet, you're ordering some stuff. You can save 10% on your entire order by using my code APWT. And again, that's if it's at pre-order or anything in stock, you still get 10% off. No one else does it. Amazon links. There are people that are constantly, they click on one of my links and then they order stuff because everyone's ordering from Amazon. It helps support the channel. Believe me, every single thing that I make, off commissions and stuff like that goes right back into the channel, whether it be to getting new stuff to review, cameras, anything that needs to be done, everything goes right back into the channel. So I definitely do appreciate it. There still is the Entertainment Earth. I know I posted a link. I don't really post too much anymore because no one gets a 10% off, and they're kind of shitty about their stuff, to be 100% honest. And then there's Top Fun Toys also. I have to add that one. But yeah, if you go to Top Fun Toys and use my code PUNKWithToys, you'll get 10% off all this 3D printed stuff. He makes some wonderful, wonderful stuff. Quickly, Masterversal Toy Hunter saying, oh, indeed, yes, with being busy and times changing for other areas of importance, I've not been on the old YouTube as much, but yes, I'm still around, what have you. And if you don't know, that is how Masterversal Toy Hunter actually talks. So he wrote it out like he actually talks. Oh my, is that Nolan jumping in here making us ToyTube official? But you know what? There's 94 people watching. There's a couple of new people. So you know what? I do have a sponsor, and this sponsor is they had me on last night. So you know what? You're gonna hear from them.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio. So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HellaDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Moss Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HellaDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box and I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HellaDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HellaDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hella Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HellaDopeToys.com and like and subscribe. And then in the comments, put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HellaDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
To all the new people, that is Moss Man. He is a creation of Hella Dope Toys, Ted Darklaw. But I have exclusive rights to have the Moss Man commercials. So quickly, Conquest says, honestly, the only Haslab vehicle I would put money on is a Sky Striker or a Conquest. So I really don't believe we'll ever see a Sky Striker, as it'd just be way too large. But I could definitely see them a few years from now doing a conquest, considering it would be roughly the same size as the Rattler. So I could definitely see them doing that. The Sky Striker, I don't. And same with the Night Raven. Those things are just way too big. And I'm not saying that you want that. I'm just saying it is one of those things. I don't think that they would do it. And honestly, I don't think most people really want it. It's just they're so damn big. And Jada, man, I want to answer this saying this is yes, you have a code for BBTS, right? So BBTS is they are sticklers, and as wonderful as they are as a company to buy stuff and get with their wonderful pile of loot, you only see the big guys like Robo and uh, there's a few other ones. I'm not sure. I know Robo is one of them. Uh, a couple of the Marvel guys, Shartimus, they actually demand that you make there that you have so many sales that go through it. You have to keep up with this, and that's the reason why you see the people that get the early access to Operation Monster Force. They're the only ones that get that, unless you beg and plead and bug the owner. Then I think he kind of throws a figure at you just to shut you up. But yeah, and Sabir says, I thought the conquest might end up having been this year's as in an outside chance kind of way. I'd like to see it officially and classified since I did have the one in the original incarnation. Again, that's the one that I could see. The Sky Striker, I just think it's way too big. And they've even said that. And if you go watch Baldy reviews, he has a 3D printed, or his buddy 3D printed a Sky Striker, and you see exactly how big it is. So, and because it's a two-seater, that's where you really run into issues. That's why I think a whale could actually work at a very high price. Big M jumping in here. Great to have you. All right. Whew. So, it says no one has a BBTS. No, so again, I think like Robo, Shartimus, Pixel Dan, God, there's two I think Marvel guys that also have it. And it's not very easy. And I don't know if they give you I don't think they give you a discount. I think they get free product, and that's how it works. Like they get free product and different things like that. So that's one of those things where, do I think that it'd be good for BBTS? I do, but maybe they look at it like, hey, the only one that's even close to us in size is Entertainment Earth, and everyone hates Entertainment Earth. So Dustin says a problem with Sky Striker is the size, and the F-14 is outdated. Again, it's also G.I. Joe, and I mean everything that G.I. Joe is pretty much doing is technically outdated when you actually look at it. Motu Guru jumping in here saying, "What's up, Punk? How's it going?" Woo. Lightfoot says Haslab Killer Whale cost and size is no concern. I'm kind of with you on that. The cost is always going to be a concern, but size, and I've discussed that one. Hurricane Live saying a whale would totally work. I do agree with that. Look at this. Stark Rhodes. I don't think that I've seen this. Anthony's Customs. Thank you very much. Yes, he was one of them. But there's also a guy has like Marvel in his name, I thought. So again, there's a lot of. There are a few. I'm not going to say there's a lot. But anyway, let's get into a little bit of the talk before we get into the Haslab. I don't think there's been any G.I. Joe news. But you know what? There's a guy he has a company, and he likes Batman. But he's not going to be make Batman very long. So let's talk a little McFarlane Toys. And you know what this guy's doing. He's doing Batman. This guy has less than a year of doing Batman figures. As a matter of fact, I believe, if I'm correct, now maybe I'm completely wrong. I thought that he was up like in 2026 because they are going full on into the Superman movie. But I believe they're able to sell anything that they have already in production. So I do think if that's true, this guy's going to have stuff in production so he can continue to sell for probably 6-8 months after he's lost a license. So look at this. Hi, it's me jumping in here saying I don't like the Bat. They're so outdated. I don't like the bats. They're so outdated. Dude, honest to God, man, that first bat is a perfect figure. It really is. Conquest Protection says, off topic, I saw 3D printed Warthog APC at classified scale on Thingiverse. I gotta say this. I think a Warthog, the problem with the Warthog is that it's not iconic enough, but I think a Warthog would be absolutely awesome. I think that it would actually be better than an APC just because it is more troop carrier and battle ready, but I don't know if it's iconic enough for them to justify it, because they might be worried that, hey, you know what if it doesn't, when one of these things don't fund, and I mean from any brand, they have to justify the next one. They really have to justify it. Hasbro hasn't, or the G.I. Joe team hasn't had to justify any since that hiss. So anyway, back to McFarlane here. These are a couple things that went up, I think, yesterday. Not went up, but they showed it. So here is this isn't Batman. This is, I don't know. Again, listen to me. What is it?
I don't go through all the graphics before the show.
So you guys know. All right. So it's one of the Batman. I'll probably have more pictures next week. He always drops something like one picture. So there's this one. There's the Azrael Bat, which I would love Nightfall. Went into Night Quest, but Nightfall was awesome. I loved Azrael as Batman or Becoming. I loved everything that it did, and I think this one is actually. I think this looks awesome. We got Skunkworks jumping in here saying, "Yo, a big shout out to Skunkworks. If you're not watching his stuff, you need to be watching his stuff. Subscribe to his channel. This is the guy that, honest to God, I see him constantly share other people's stuff, and he shares my stuff all the time. And I cannot say thank you enough, Jeff. So please head on over there and make sure you subscribe to his channel. So this is another Batman, but it's the Azrael Bat, which I think is awesome. I do like the way this looks. I like the colors. It's not the classic colors of the Azbat, I think is how they refer to him, but again, it does look cool. And this is just another repaint. He's done it a few times. Manhusa says John Paul Valley was surprisingly well-made character. He was, man. Like, he was a really and thinking back to that whole time for Nightfall, like what they did, the tension that he created within the whole Bat family, basically created more tension between him and Nightwing, Robin, Dick Grayson, who, in my opinion, he should be the only other person to don the cape and cowl. So that's why I love after that when Dick Grayson does take up the cape and cowl. So. And then we have this one here, and I know this is another repaint. This is the big ears. I really do like the way this looks. I just hate the fact that his stuff is just out of scale with, all the Marvel Legends and stuff like that, because I think that's what we all want them to match. So we can mix and match stuff. The pictures that I dropped today is Magneto basically attacking one of the Cobra bases, and I have it picking up. He's picking up a stinger and he's crushing a bat. So I like being able to mix things, and you can't do this. Not to mention his articulation sucks. I really do hope Mattel, when they look at it, they go on a 6-inch scale. I hope that they look and they realize, you know what, we can sell more if we go with a scale that mixes with Marvel Legends rather than a scale that mixes with our Masterverse line. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think they're also going to get more people in, because if they go with a 6-inch line, and I'm talking about Mattel, all the people are going to have to replace their McFarlane if they want to continue on with DC. But then you're also going to have the Marvel Legends guys that are like, hey, you know what? I need a Superman to go up against my, Maximum Hulk or my Thor. That would be awesome. But anyway, as for this, I think this does look pretty good still. Again, some of his sculpts are awesome, but you never know when it comes to McFarlane. Benedict jumping in here saying it would have been cool if the Haslab you could select what deco you want, like OD Green, Arctic, or Tiger Force. I think a lot of people kind of feel like that too. I just think logistically it would have been a complete nightmare trying to pick which one that somebody wants. But let's be honest, down the road, they're probably going to reuse that mold. I'm not a big fan of that because we're paying for them to do the molds, but I think that we're definitely going to get that. And I think that they already hinted at a Arctic Hiss, and I've already heard rumors about a Crimson Hiss, so we'll see. A Shark Guy's jumping in here saying, Larry, chat, fellow fuck weasels, greeting. And Shark, I want to reiterate, I did not spoil that you were at Joe Fest. You asked me not to post the pictures because you still wanted to surprise people. And then you guys went ahead and already shared it out on Instagram. And you went, oh, it doesn't really matter now. Just Darren and Pop happened to see it on mine. So I just want to say I was not the one that did it. I thought you guys did it because I don't remember exactly who it was, but I remember I asked you and you go, I guess it doesn't matter now. It's already out there because other people had spoiled it. You are right. Darren 3-star draw and Pop saw it on mine, but somebody also already showed it. And I remember asking you and you go, I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. And I didn't. And again, I also didn't share my stuff till later on that night, because I didn't put up pictures till after that night. So someone had already done it or else I was not going to. So Viper Scout jumping in here. And then here is the Casual Toy Collector. Oh, yay. Another Batman. So I just want to say, Casual Toy Collector, you have made a wonderful story for me. Ed absolutely loves it. Here, I want to get this off quickly here. Let's get this. I'm going to go full screen really quickly. So, Tony, I think, was right there. And if GI Bro is still there, he's going to remember. So, quickly, let's say, MCR, who would win an overalls fight between the Circle of Jerks? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much any of us can fight, especially at our age. So quickly, Casual Collector. You were taking a picture. There was like 6 of you guys. And I kind of stopped everyone. And so we weren't walking. And GI Bro was right behind me. You might have heard the story already, but so you took the picture and GI Bro Rich says, see, not everyone knows you. And I swear to God, like he did not finish that word. And you said, oh, hey, look, it's a punk with toys. And I looked back at Rich and he was like, oh, dude, you got to be kidding me. And I said, I wish you had this one on video. So I want to say thank you so much because you truly did make a memorable moment out of just taking a picture for your guys' self. So anyway, I don't know if you'd heard that yet, but again, that was a blast because Rich was like, you gotta be kidding me. Denolian Gambit would love to see that G.I. Joe Stealth Jet, the X something as a Haslab. So yeah, that's a Night Raven. That is way too big. In my personal opinion, but I know what you're talking about. They might be able to do it as a Marvel Haslab and shorten it and make it wider. But I think a lot of people want it, but the actual Night Raven would be huge. And then we have TD3 Trooper jumping in here saying, "What's up, my dudes?" Whew. Clint Jorgensen says, "It was our boy we brought. He told everyone." I don't know what that was about. Ryan Daly jumping in here saying, "It's more than a little annoying that no Mossman's Land and Trocchia Batman figures have soft, good capes, but we're not wired." Okay. Did I say no Mossman? Whew. You get Mossman on your mind there. The GI Bro saying, "Oh boy, sorry, I had to tell the story since he jumped in here." ICT Vinny jumping in here saying, "Maybe not fight, but Squid Game style." I don't know, man. I don't know how many of us can still move other than myself. I'm gonna be 100% honest. See, and look, casual collector laughing about it. I wouldn't say I'm a celebrity, but I guess I was kind of known. Gun Bunny jumping in here. We have Tony's face saying, "I'd run from Terry." I would too, but I think I'd be a little bit more mobile than Terry for sure. Okay, I got really behind. Anyway, back to our McFarlane stuff. Again, if you're tuning in because if you're tuning in for the first time and you're like, "Dude, you're all over the fucking place. What's wrong?" This is what you get. This is the charm of this show. Anyway, a new Batman here, Arkham City in gold. Because who didn't want a gold Batman? Because nothing screams stealth like fucking a gold Batman. But like I said, Uncle Todd is going to give us as many Batmans and stuff as possible till he loses this license. And we're going to talk about them as much as possible. And quickly, we got Patrick Strackel jumping in here saying, "Sup, pumpkin friends?" G.I. Bro saying, "That was a true story. If I wasn't right there, I wouldn't believe it." All right. 610. Okay, so G.I. Bro, Rich, this is something that I haven't told you. Okay, so this is something I haven't told you. When I stopped and cause I kind of stopped you guys because I was just in the front, so I just stopped so they could take a picture. I almost turned around to you because we were making jokes. Again, jokes have been made all weekend about how everyone knows me and I'm kind of a big deal. And I almost turned around to you, Rich, and I was about to say, I shit you not. I was gonna say, wait till they realize that I walked right in front of them and they didn't know who I was. And I swear to God, it was no sooner than that he said that. Like, you said what you said, he said that, and I went, fuck, like, I cannot believe that was just said. So there were a few things, and I didn't know how to say it. I was about to make a joke, and then all of a sudden he said that. So Smitten Kittens review saying best newsiest toy losing the license pins for the unwin. Hey. Some people love pinned elbows. I don't. I think I have this Batman too. A version of him. Just all in black. I think he's the only Batman that I actually own. And he's in a box somewhere. But again, if you like it, buy it, enjoy it. I can't imagine that. Mattel is going to do nearly as many of these as McFarlane does. But hopefully, we've seen what they've done with the Masters of the Universe line. I hope they go deep with the DC line because they really should. They have the money to do it. They've shown the means with Masters of the Universe, which, let's be honest, is much smaller. So hopefully they do the exact same thing here. Quip says, not to toot my own horn, but I mean, it's funny. Just for the record, I was not the one that started making jokes about myself being a big deal. All right. It was other people. Ed was probably the biggest one. All right. Nolan says DC will be a 5.5 inch scale. God, how much would that piss people off? And Tony says, I like them because they are fun fixing them, but I shouldn't have to. That makes no, you're absolutely correct. And Tony, one of the things that it's one thing like when I kind of point out like what you do with some of the classified, and you're trying to do something to make it more how you want it, right? Where the McFarlane, when you have to fix them, you have to literally fix his own scale, where his figures don't scale properly against each other. And we're not talking about, the one classified that is on the, Roadblock and Gung Ho, buck that's just a little bit bigger. But there are some bigger people. You have what's his, Wonder Woman, who's taller than everyone else, and then Batman is bigger than Superman, and it's like, come on, like these are just little things that, we shouldn't have to be doing, right? Like you shouldn't have to do that stuff. So, but anyway, no, believe me, it's Quip. I am all for it. All right. Yes, Shark Eyes and I both ran with that gag. Here's what I have to say about that. I think the joke's pretty fucking funny. Because you know what? Say what you guys want. I think Ed and Tony and Adam and everyone else that was at Joe Fest, everything that happened that weekend, like everything that we did, all the jokes, that's what makes Joe Fest so much fucking fun, right? So anyway. All right. Let's talk a little Mezco, and I guess we'll stay in the Bat family. And they dropped their Mezco Con Nightwing. So I do believe this is the SDCC exclusive. Now this is just a repaint. I do believe there's a new head. I will say this. I'm assuming that I'm never going to get a replacement for Duke's M4 in his backpack like they said they were going to, because they said give it 6 to 8 weeks, and now that's been like 8 months. And when I contacted them, their response was, well, just say dickish, saying, because I said, hey, I know it's been, it's been about that, it's been over that much time. I just kind of want to remind you. And when the guy responded back, he said, oh, we're busy right now, but you can just send it back and we can refund your money. I'm like, wow, that was pretty dickish of you, but whatever. I'm not a big fan of Mezco and their customer service. And it's not the first time someone's bitched about their customer service. But anyway, the figures look awesome. And this Nightwing does look good, although I am more of a blue person than that. So here we go. Oh my gosh. Is this Southern Jiu-Jitsu? I believe this is Aaron the Toy Enhancers. Only the cool kids go to Joe Fest. I agree with that. I agree 100%. Actually, no, it's not true. Not only the cool kids. There are some cool kids there. There definitely were some uncool kids there. Whoosh, whoosh. Anyway, J.I. Jetman says, next year, if a guy comes up to you in a motorized power wheelchair, it's me, and I promise I won't roll you over. Okay, now I'm actually kind of worried. Aaron did go and he didn't come in as his Viper, but he went and he showed up there and he wore his he wore the Viper off because he's part of the the Finest. So the Finest were there, and yeah, he was in his Viper outfit. I believe he was only in there for one. I think he was only there for Saturday. So anyway, there we go. I think this looks really good, but I'm not sure how many people are going to go for it. But if there are people that are huge Nightwing fans, I know my moderator Matthew Matson. His wife is a huge Nightwing fan, so I know he is also. But I don't know if like this is going to be one of those things where so many people have to get it. I thought what was really good about the Snake Eyes was it's a different version of Snake Eyes, and I know people absolutely love it. But I do think this looks really good. And again, everything Mezco does, it's really good stuff. You just have to be very careful with it, in my personal opinion, because the soft goods, it hides the joints, so you don't know. You have to be careful about not breaking it. So Quip says, "Oh boy, so Mezco rewarded you with an errand to the post office for the company screw up. Yippee skippy." Well, yeah, that's what they said I could do, and I'm like, dude, I messaged you showing you that the rifle and the backpack had broken. And they said that, hey, yeah, we'll replace it. I didn't ask for a replacement figure, and I waited, and then I responded. I'm like, hey, I know you guys are busy. I just don't want this to get lost. And the attitude that came back, I was just like, fuck you, man. I mean, I don't know if you watch Legend series. Legend series tells a story about ordering the Mezco coat and them completely fucking him over. And he's like, so I was done with them. And, he goes, I absolutely love that figure, but screw them. And seriously, like, I don't know why anyone would want to run a company like that, but they do, and they know they can get away with it. But yeah, you're right. Like their response was, we can just refund you your money. And I'm thinking, dude, you can't send me a fucking rifle. You think I'm going to trust you to refund my money if I send back the figure? I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, Tripwire says, a Punk with Toys, call him out on it, Punk. You have it in writing, but they said they owe you a gun and a backpack. Oh, I know. I'm going to respond one more time to them and see what they say. So, but yeah, it is one of those, it's one of those things where it's like, why not just either say, I'm sorry, we don't have that. All we can do is refund your money. I wasn't even mad about it. It was just like, when you first messaged them, like, hey, this broke. Is there anything you can do about it? Oh, well, but you're right. Like, just like Legend series, he has no problem telling the story of what they did to him. And it's just, it's bullshit. It's bullshit when companies do this. And some of them go about it specific ways and some of them go about it other ways. But when you're a small company that is pricing people out on some of their figures and how much how much they cost, you think you want to do your best to make sure you keep that customer loyalty. Anyway, back to our Nightwing here. So again, looks good. It is the Dick Grayson that I think people do like. It'd be cool if this thing actually lit up. They do a lot of stuff to make this light up, and I don't think it does. But either way, they do some wonderful photography. I've always mentioned that, but I've also said it's much easier, in my opinion, for them to do these wonderful poses with their figures when they know if they break it, they can just grab another one, or get it replaced really quickly. So, Quip says they could have even offered a partial refund without the return. Yeah, I mean, there's 100 things they could have done, or hey, you know what? Here's 10% off your next one, right? Yeah, maybe even toss you a % off the future purchases. And again, if it was just me, but I've heard numerous people that have had issues with them, that you just go, yep, this is how their business works, and I think we all know it only lasts so long. Normally the stuff is actually pretty good. That's the only problem that I've had with it. So, and if I didn't get it from them, I understand. Then you have to go through where you got it from. Anyway, back to our Nightwing here. All the color looks good. So, and you can see there are other figures that they actually have coming out, or I think we assume is coming. But if you are a Batman fan, especially if you're a Dick Grayson fan, it's crazy because you know people are huge Batman fans and they'll buy everything. But at this point here, you really can there are people that are Dick Grayson fans. And, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that like Dick Grayson more than Bruce Wayne, probably because he has a better conscience. So there you go. Everything that he does come with. How some of these look like hands from some of the G.I. Joe figures, the Snake Eyes figures, or at least very similar to them. And you have 4 different heads, and it's not 5. It looks like it's 4 different heads right here. But yeah, this all looks, I mean, they all look really good here. And then all of his other accessories that you're going to come with. So again, they pack it full of stuff. Just don't break it and expect that you're gonna get another one. And Shark says, doesn't matter if you're a successful toy company or a simple collector. Don't stiff people. Have some common decency with your dealings. Yeah. Again, 10% off. Probably overpriced figures to begin with isn't very much, but I think it was easier, in my personal opinion, to treat people like this before the age of YouTube. Now you get the wrong YouTube channel that has a big audience, and I'm not saying I have a big audience, but I have a decent sized audience. But you get someone with a big audience that has no problem saying, you know what, fuck this company. This is what they did. Here's the proof. It hurts your company. There are other companies that are doing the same thing, and rather than thriving, they treat people like shit. And it's one of those things where I don't know why you want to do that, but you do. So anyway, we'll see. I'm not holding my breath to get that rifle. Not at all. I'm also not sending the Duke back because I actually like the figure. It's ridiculous. So, all right. On to Jada and some of their stuff right now. Let's see here. So these are some of the SDCC. I know we talked about this. I think I talked about this on Circle of Jerks, so I haven't I do so much fucking YouTube. I forget what I talked about and what I didn't talk about. But this is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I know a lot of people are really upset about these 2 figures. Now, I think it is what is pretty cool is they're giving you the extra heads that go with the regular figure, along with everything that you're going to get. But people want head packs, and I'm willing to bet that they're eventually going to do head packs. I mean, if you have the molds, you're throwing them in these other iterations. I don't see why you wouldn't just do a head pack and allow everyone to buy it through the Jada site. But it probably won't be till most of them have the 3rd, 4th head option. So, but yeah, here we go with these long, very disturbing limbs. These are not your picks. I actually did not add your picks in here of Bison because I really didn't want to. But yeah, Crustio Crow says, I haven't seen the new Street Fighter since Guile Player 2. I love what they're including in these now with the extra heads. Do you mean Blue Guile? Yeah. Fuck Blue Guile. I don't think he exists. It's very aggravating because I've gone to too many Targets looking for him and I still don't have Blue Guile. So, but here he is. I've mentioned this before. I didn't play this game a lot, but I hated when people played him because even as a kid, his long limbs just they creep me out. So do have um I do have him. He does not have the extra long limbs on. They literally sit uh, in the bin, and other than when I do the review, I won't see him. I guess I'm kind of like Robo, how he hates flocked stuff and he doesn't want to have it anywhere. Only difference is I don't even think he'll touch flocked stuff. I'll at least deal with. I'll at least mess around with these. So like this here doesn't creep me out. Chad and jumping in here saying, "What's up?" Nice little Charlie Brown right there. But these Street Fighters are just awesome. So this special effect, now again, I don't really remember anything about this, but I have to say here he is blowing this flame. He's blowing. I mean, this is, I believe, supposed to be a Dalsim figure there. I know people are mad about this. Now, again, I don't get it because I'm told this is the type of stuff that is perfect for a exclusive. You don't need to have it. But then when you can't just get it, people are pissed off. Just so everyone knows, no one's entitled to everything, even though some collectors feel they are entitled to get everything. I did say this, though. Now you need a Taco Bell little accessory kit, and you can have this blowing out his ass while he's eating Taco Bell on the toilet, because I think it might work awesome. But you have this blowing effect. This is the head. Again, these look really awesome. So if you don't have the Jada Street Fighter and you're a toy collector, if you're just a G.I. Joe guy, just a Motu guy or whatever, I guess there's no reason to pick something up like this. But if you're a toy collector and you're not a Street Fighter, you need to pick up at least one of these figures. They really are that damn good. They're so much fun to play with, and they're at an affordable price. And then here we have Bison in green. Now, I don't have any other promotional pictures other than this one here. So this is basically blowing a flame right through him. You can actually see he's going through the guy. He's actually in that flame effect right there. So this is awesome. Like, I think this is really cool. You know, they do something that is different. You don't have to have all of it. You can still get all the main characters at Target. That's where they've all been available. But this is the type of stuff, in my opinion, that is supposed to be an exclusive. Clinton Jorgensen says Dawson's Cup Shot not as impressive as Batman. Wait, isn't that the point of collecting, to have everything or to chase things? I don't know. I don't know at what point you said that, Gun Bunny. I mean, yeah, we all want everything, but I mean, I think the whole point of, being a collector is that you don't get everything. You may want it. I'm not saying you, because this definitely is not aimed towards you, but you may want everything, but there are ways to get everything, aren't there? But then people get mad about it, and hey, you know what? We don't get everything. There's a lot of things that I want in life that I don't get, and toys are no different. So, and then we have this Mega Man. Now, I'm not a Mega Man collector, although I think all the Mega Man stuff looks awesome. I know that I've been in the chat with Jerkin Games before, and Games was like, dude, they're like $20, man. You can get the whole set. I'm like, yeah, I know, that $20. And they're not even that big. Yeah, I know, but that $20 turns into $100. And then that $100 of that one little figure really starts to build out and become bigger figures and more space. But this is awesome because this is what many people played our original NES on, right? Like the way this looks. The casual toy collector saying, yeah, box is dope. This is really cool. And again, I kind of remember these little guys, but I couldn't tell you anything about Mega Man other than Mega Man and that he has an Arm 4 blaster. In Southern Jiu-Jitsu, or Aaron the Toy Enhancer saying, we don't get everything for sure. No, it's very true. And to be honest, hell, we have more, we have more than we actually need. We should truly be happy. And again, I'm not saying you should be happy about everything that's just given to you, but we're at a point where we live in a society where we can get anything that we really want, whether it's on eBay, whether it's through Amazon. This is one of the reasons why, we've talked about it. We talked about on the Circle of Jerks. That's why you make friends in the community, because you might have friends that are going to San Diego Comic-Con or Joe Fest or Joe Lanta or DFW, right? Legions Con. Like, that's how I've gotten some of the stuff. And I've gotten some of the people stuff from Joe Fest. So, but anyway, here's these little, I don't know what they are, but they come in this little, everything is very, video game eccentric. And I think it's actually pretty cool. Again, this is something I think you could buy these and use them up, go up against your Skeledrones. If you don't have any Skeletron drones, you need to get some. I just spent like an extra. I just bought like another $200 worth of Skeletron stuff this week, because you haven't seen their 6-inch figures. I probably should talk more about that. You really need to look at that shit. Ooh, man, that stuff looks really good. So anyway, but there you go. This is the SDCC exclusive for Mega Man. The little box here. Again, this is all super cool. And if you're a Mega Man fan, I think it's something you're going to enjoy. Woo! All right. Yeah, I should mention the pre-order window for the Skeletron stuff closes either tonight or tomorrow. So if you're interested in any of it, go pick it up now. You're gonna save yourself a couple bucks. I only had one 6-inch figure on order, and that was the Jungle Wolf. And when I saw him at Joe Fest again, especially the silver figure, oh man, the chrome figure it looks awesome. So I went and I pre-ordered all of them, including the Skeletron. Those figures are going to be, they look amazing. And I think a lot of people are going to miss out on them, at least miss out getting them a little bit cheaper. So if you haven't ordered them and you're on the fence about the Skeletron, man, I would definitely go and get some. Oh, yeah. Ed says these would be fun with Plunderlings. You're absolutely correct. Plunderlings are another just fun. Joe Fan 84 jumping in here. Great to see you. All right. Cobra Emperor says, why should people rely on others when it's the modern day and age? They should always have it online for everyone. Because it's called an exclusive. I mean, it's called an exclusive. That's the whole point, to get people to want to show up there, to buy stuff from there. And it makes the community better. You make actual friends by creating that connection. And you can get more than enough stuff online. And technically you can. You can go on eBay. You can go on Amazon. I mean, the stuff's going to be there, right? So I don't live in this world that I feel like we're entitled to absolutely everything, though others do. All right. So I did see this pop up right before I went, well, not right before I went live, but when I got home today, and they are doing a color variant of Mask in gold. Is it black or is it brown? Not a huge fan of this. I think they had a really good look, but This is what an exclusive is supposed to be. So if you are interested in it, you can get a black and gold rhino. And here we have my nemesis jumping in here, Bees Battleground, saying, I like exclusives. I like having limited things in my collection. Adds more story than I ordered it from Amazon and it arrived. Yeah, that's, I mean, I think you're right there. Like, again, there are a lot of things that I really do want that I know are going to be difficult. I am working right now trying to secure that I get the Cold Slither pack. And, as of right now, I had someone that said they can get it for me. More than likely, will it be available? Will it be available on Pulse? Probably. Will people that order from Pulse probably get it before me? Probably. But I want to secure it, and I'm willing to pay a little bit of extra, including that shipping, to make sure that I get it. And there's kind of a story to it, right? There's that little story. So I don't know. Patrick says, I agree with you, Punk, though we are blessed to get what we have and don't need everything. Yeah, again. And if you have that much money to get everything, then you really shouldn't be too pissed off that you have to spend a little bit more. Just my personal opinion. Anyway, here's your Mask 40th anniversary MDU. Now, I didn't see a price, or shall I say I wasn't looking for a price. But if you want it, the new outfits, again, everything's the exact same. There's nothing different on it. I'm assuming it's $125, so still pretty pricey if that's what it is. But if you want it and you're like, hey, I have to be a completist on the mask, I think you're going to end up with 3 rhinos already. Imagine having 3 rhinos, because they have the chrome one, then they have the regular one, and they have this one. Man, you're already in the $400 range on getting just that big semi. And Cobra says, I hate paying eBay prices or having to pay extra shipping because you have to get it 2 places instead of 1 because they're playing these stupid games. They're not, again, it's called an exclusive. And they're not playing games with you because you don't need everything. You want everything. You are not deserving of everything. Just remember that. We don't deserve anything. We earn stuff. We want it. Yes. Action Fig says exclusives have been around in the toy biz before any of us were alive. It's not games. It's business. Bingo. It's business. People were mad about the classified, Target exclusives. You know who paid for those classified molds? Target. Walmart when they did theirs. Amazon paid for that Arctic Storm Shadow, which is really Ninja Storm Shadow, or version 3 Storm Shadow. This is how you get around it. The other thing that I was actually told, so Joe Fest doesn't do this, and I find this not odd. I don't understand why he wouldn't. I guess I kind of understand why he wouldn't, but I was talking to one of the vendors, and they were saying that when you see these exclusives, like when the Four Horsemen Studios does the Joe Lanta exclusive, that not rock and roll, they're paying for it. Like Joe Lanta or Toy Lanta, whoever, they're paying for them to do it. They're like, we want you to do it. Here's how much we're going to give you to produce a figure that's specific for our show to help bring people into our convention. So it's, I didn't realize that's how most of these conventions work. I was told that, Joe Fest doesn't do that. So when you have a Joe Fest exclusive, like from Delta 17, that's actually coming out of, Steve and Ken's pocket to make their own exclusive. And maybe that's the reason why you do see it go up. But that's the reason why there wasn't a Mythic Legions exclusive. And again, that's kind of disappointing that that you don't get a Joe Fest exclusive like that. And so that kind of leads me to believe that more than likely, Fresh Monkey Fiction, that's coming out of their pocket. So Plastic Battle is jumping in here saying, yeah, not games. Every company sells exclusives to stores and other channels, not just toys. Footwear brands I used to work for had exclusives at Costco, Target, and Macy's. Exactly. I think that's what people don't realize. Like, it's not just toys. That's just the realm that we're dealing with. That's why I laugh when people get mad about boxes that are damaged. I understand we're collectors, but if you're working at Target or Walmart, dude, the box is what holds, your fan that they're shipping. Like, they're just putting that fan box into a box and shipping it, right? No one cares if the toaster box comes damaged because you're taking the toaster out. Those companies think like, hey, you know what? This box is there to protect that toy that's inside of it. As long as the toy is good, then you should be happy. I know that's not how we think, but that's how a big business thinks. That's why you do have places like Entertainment Earth, Pulse, Hella Dope Toys. They're supposed to know that they're supposed to take care of that. So anyway, whew, my goodness. All right, so let's get to something that I don't have slides for, and that is the Four Horsemen Studios dropped their latest Mythic Legion line, and I have to say, I know Matthew Matson, in our mods chat, he sent a message, and I forget what I was doing, but I quickly read it, and he's like, I want all of them. And I looked at these things, and I gotta say, this is the first time, and I'm not doing it, so I don't want anyone to be like, oh, you're gonna do it. No, I'm not. This is the first time that I'm like, if I went all in on these Mythic Legions, there's every character in this I want. Now I'm gonna do my best because this is thanks to Toy Newsy, as articulated or highly articulated likes to call it, but they also like throwing in some they also throw in some adverbs, and then you got to back out of it and you have to start all over again. So anyway, this is the latest line of Mythic Legions, and it looks fucking badass. All right, if you're not into Mythic Legions, that's fully cool. I understand. But yeah, and I see, and the Cobra Emperor, without customers or consumers, then they don't have a business. Yeah. And Ed, the Cobra Emperor, none of us owed anything from any company. It's our choice to spend our money or not. If you don't buy it, someone else will. Exactly. And they are doing stuff. Just because you're not at that convention, just because you're not there to get it, doesn't mean that they're not helping someone else out. Again, you got to step outside of your own little packaging and saying, hey, how does this benefit everyone else? How does this benefit the toy community? Anyway, back to some fun stuff here. Again, these are all out of order too, because I didn't do them. Though then again, sometimes when I do my own slides, they're out of order. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna. So, Todd C, just so you know, Bobby Valor was not banned from Joe Fest. It was his choice not to go. All right, it's his choice. Let's hold on. Yeah, so you have to pre-order these from Store Horseman. So if you go to the Four Horsemen, you'll find a link. And the only reason I'm not pulling up that is because they're actually very small pictures. That's the reason why I didn't go to Store Horseman. So if you go to Store Horseman, you can pre-order these right now. And once their pre-order ends, if you've never ordered anything from the Four Horsemen, once their pre-order ends, all the other companies will put them up for pre-order. But this is the cheapest that you can get them. So if you order them through here, you're actually going to get them at a cheaper price, and you can compare them to all the other Four Horsemen stuff. Their pricing is across the board. So Hella Dope Toys, BBTS, Four Horsemen, whoever sells it, they cannot sell it for any more, and they can't put them on sale unless if the Four Horsemen say that you can. So here's everything that you're going to get with this guy. He's a standard size buck. I know he looks bigger, but he's actually a standard size figure. I want to say, I think it said it was $42 right now. So this is like a $50 figure normally. The only thing is you'll be waiting about a year to year and a half, I think. I think the turnaround time is about 18 months. But if you're all in on this company, then it's great. Because if you told me, hey, you know what? If you told me, hey, you can pre-order all this G.I. Joe stuff, you're going to get it $5, $7 off each figure, but you're going to have to wait a year and a half, dude, I'd do it. So, but here he is. He has a leg bone, it looks like, as a weapon. Here's the back of him. You can see the soft goods. You can see the wonderful horns. Again, this whole wave looks awesome. And here he is. And, again, he could kind of fit in as a, if you're doing Marvel Legends and you need somebody that's going to be an ice giant for, for Loki or for Thor, like he'd fit in perfect. The femur club looks rad. I agree, man. Bill K jumping in here. But yeah. And look, Woody 222 jumping in here saying the figure addict. Sup, Bill K. You know what? Just because here comes Woody. Woody gets a where's it at here? That is so disgusting. I really should change that. But this is Jakul Iron Bones. Standard figure price, $42. Again, I don't know when they put this together, a lot of the pictures were out of order. I couldn't even make it through all of them. There's like 90 different pictures, so hopefully it doesn't crash out on me. But you can see how it looks. Again, if you've never had a Four Horsemen figure, if you've never had a Four Horsemen figure and you're a toy collector, I think you really need to have it because their paint, their sculpting, the accessories are amazing on it. Articulation, not so much. Everything else, yeah. What he says, I love farts. Thank you, Punk. What are your thoughts on sharks, though? Well, here's the back of them again. So, here's the next figure, and I think this one looks awesome too. This soft goods on it just really pop, man. I mean, the soft goods on this like really pop. That head sculpt is fucking awesome. Now, I don't know where he found gel in this day and age, but it's definitely there. But you just look at the beard, that mustache, the braiding in it. Everything is awesome on these things. So again, I apologize because these aren't in the order that I would do them. So here's Commander Igraine. I think I said that right. Now, I've said before that the God, someone help me out. There's another female figure that I've reviewed. I think it's one of the best female figures, like sculpts, that I've ever seen. This one may actually be a little bit better, and I don't think it's the same face sculpt. B says, hair gel, if you gotta ask, you can't afford. Well, I don't need to worry about the hair gel. Even I could afford it. Ray Black jumping in here saying, "Hey, Lawrence in chat. I knew I'd find you. I knew I'd find Nolan here." So this is everything that she comes with. I can't imagine wanting to hide this face sculpt under that mask, but I think it actually does look pretty good. That night out, the night mask there. But this thing looks awesome. Like I'm definitely going to be getting some of these. I doubt I'll be, man, I don't know. Believe me, I'm tempted to go all in, but I also know there's a lot of G.I. Joe stuff coming. This is a new, I believe they said this is a new size. So these figures are really small. And there is a picture with them next to it. And it has a human head too. So it makes it so it can be an army builder or it can be like this little troll. And again, back to her. So I apologize for this, though I didn't do it. But you can see this face sculpt. And again, the soft goods underneath it. I think that's what really makes everything pop. It's just a little bit of soft goods that they do. But you look at all this paint, the sculpting, they are just awesome. So here she is. You can see how big, again, you see how big the sword is. And I believe this is a sword that I already have. And there's a lot of reuse on the parts. So here's this new scale. All right. So you can see exactly how small the little figure is right there. But she's still at the same price, I believe. But they give you enough to make it where, it's worth what you're going to be paying for it. So, yeah, the shortage teeth look absolutely amazing. But yeah, Cobra Emperor, I'm starting to think that you feel like you're entitled to get anything you want. Woody says, "Oh no, not Super 7 pricing. Small figures should be smaller price." I tend to agree with you, other than I know the quality of these, and I guess that's kind of where, they do have some figures that make up for it. But here he is. I also think what's awesome about this wave is it goes really good with the Haslab. Lots of food items. So, but here he is standing on like a little barrel. So you can see exactly how small he is. He has this wonderful beer mug that's frothing. I think I said it right. So now we're back to this guy. But looking at that detail that they put in, I mean, this does look like an actual wooded, like a wood shield. So again, I don't think anyone can, can complain too much about it. So this is an accessory pack, which I don't know how every single person that collects 1/12 scale is not going to order at least one of these. Matthew, have you already gone on it? Matthew says, I wish one mug was full and one was empty in each color. Is there a chance that maybe they slide out? Just like the B says, I already ordered a keg. And I'm asking because the Fresh Monkey Fiction Santa Claus, his cup of milk has, the milk that drops into it. So you can have an empty glass or you can have a glass full of milk. I wonder if there's any chance that this comes off or comes out, like they slide out. Here's another a warrior, or it's actually the same guy there. That's all the stuff that he comes with. So you can army build almost any single one of these figures. Yeah, again, Matthew, I think you're with me. Like, I think if that froth doesn't come out, I think they missed a huge opportunity, right? I couldn't imagine that the molding or the casting for that would be too much more expensive, right? So Rad and I'm jumping in here. Great to spend last night. We didn't spend last night together. We spent last night as a sixum. And we got Sean Forrester jumping in here. Says, "Yep, they said the froth is removable." Okay, cool. Thank you for letting us know. Here, I guess we'll play it right now. Where's it at?
I don't go through all the graphics before the show.
And Robert's driven jumping in saying, "Damn, I love that." Yeah, this again. And as I get more into doing photography and stuff like that, you want little things, these accessory packs. I just wish these were all in order. So when YouTubers use Toy Newsy's site. So anyway, this is Boris Burgess Story. Standard figure, $42. So Woody, I am kind of with you. Like, he's a much shorter figure, and it would be nice if they were cheaper. When I first bought my first Mythic Legion, I specifically did not buy any of the smaller figures just because I felt like the price that I'm paying, I should be getting a bigger buck, something bigger. The only difference is after time of having Mythic Legions and having Full Horseman stuff and knowing the quality, it doesn't bother me as much. And I guess it's kind of hypocritical. But the fact is, like, their quality, their sculpts, they're just so damn good that I don't feel like even with a small figure that I'm getting ripped off. I mean, Matthew, you can probably speak. I don't know if you ever felt like you're getting ripped off with anything with the Full Horsemen have done. So Crusty Old Crow says Thor approved. Year of the toy sausages. All right. But every single one of these figures, I'm like, yeah. So here's what you get with that figure. So you are getting a giant barrel. So you're getting that keg right there. You got the tap. You got a beer. They do make it so, you can create another figure. You can army build on it. You got the stand for it. You got the pick. Is anyone else singing hi ho, hi ho? But yeah, this is, again, they do a wonderful job with everything that they do. So again, I think now we need Snow White. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is the Full Horseman Studios. It's their Mythic Legion line. They also do the figure Obscura. They do Cosmic Legions. They're starting to create some other lines, but this is the Full Horseman, the Four Horsemen company. The M scale figures come with dial pieces to make up in value, but it is a bit hard to swallow. Yeah, and again, I understand that, but again, I think that if you've ever had, if you've ever messed around and had the Four Horsemen stuff, Mythic Legions, you realize the quality that it is, and I think that makes it easier to accept. So here's everything that you're going to get with this one: grapes, sausage, pan, pick, some shitty apples, four beer mugs. Come on, this thing is going to sell like crazy for them, right? There's no way that it's not going to sell awesome for them. And then back to this guy, Matt O'Brien, jumping in here saying, "Evening, folks. Happy Monday." Right back at you, Matt O'Brien. All right, so this is Halvard of Frothavar. $42 figure. Now, again, I think this is where people really look at it and they're like, hey, I'm looking at this figure and I'm seeing this here. And I'm like, hey, if this costs the exact same amount as that, that imp, how do they justify it? And not everyone is into photography. Not everyone is into doing dials. They just want to figure that they're going to put on their shelf, and that's how they're going to leave it. So I kind of understand, both sides of the argument when you're not getting as much. Again, I was the same way the first time I bought one. So, Ed says the figure prices are like movie tickets. Tickets cost the same whether it's 3 hours or an hour and a half. That's a hell of an analogy that I never thought of, Ed. And you're absolutely correct. You're right. And even if the 3-hour movie is shitty, if the 3-hour movie is shitty, it still costs the same. Stiff Kittens review says, with all the Snow White haters, Rachel Ziegler is certainly having the last laugh with her Evita. And I can't believe you say with all the Snow White haters, and then Pop Blender shows up right away. So he gets a
Fucking Phil Collins.
for being a member for 19 months. Honestly, Stiff Kittens, you cannot say that and then any better and then have Pop Blender show up right after. All right. Tech 49 says false analogy, larger figures are more. The large figures are. But in imp scale, which is much shorter, is the same price as this figure. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the really big figures. So anyway, here she is, all armed up. And again, the soft goods just make everything really work together. So this is what I'm talking about. All right. Standard scale, new imp scale. So that does make it hard to, again, when you look at this, that is half the size. And you're still charging the exact same price. $42 on pre-order, $50 if you go to Sergeant Red's or you pre-order it from, Haslab Toys or whoever. So these are the exact same. But they do give it, they do give him, different accessories that are supposed to, offset it. But not everyone wants a keg, right? Not everyone wants this big barrel. I, on the other hand, I do. I think it's awesome. That's not the same scale. That's not the same. Hold on. Yeah, that's the same scale for it. So they're charging you the exact same price for that. They're just giving you a big accessory right here. And again, that's why I think that some people have a little bit of an issue with it. Liquid Identity jumping in here saying not much different from full price Ewok or Grogu. That's another justifiable complaint. That's no. Just because something is the size of an O-ring figure doesn't make it a 1/18 scale. It may fit with them, but this is supposed to be an imp, so he's supposed to be small. But yeah. And Woody says, "Oh, I didn't realize you get the keg that changes it for me." Yeah. So this whole accessory set is $25 right now. If you don't, it's probably going to be $30 or $32. Anyway, I think we've seen enough of these exact same figures. Let's try and find a new figure. Man, they're showing a lot of the same ones. Okay, so this is also on the imp scale. So you see here, you get another little fire pit. You got your little wood there. You got a frying pan. You got your backpack. You got your little thermos. This guy's cool. He's a little bunny. And Anya from Buffy the Vampire Slayer would not like it because she does not like bunnies. Matt O'Brien says, does anyone else think the accessory set would be cool for the Dreadnoks? Yes. Absolutely. Again, I think something like this can be used for anything when it comes to 1/18 scale. Not 1/18 scale, for your 1/12 scale. Like, I think anything like that, could work perfectly. Allison says, I don't like bunnies either. Never trust a rabbit. And I could see you being a vengeance demon too. Just saying. So in here is Byler Frostfear. Okay, you got to be careful when you have to be careful saying this name, all right? Because you may come off sounding a little racist if you say it improperly. But yeah, again, as small as they are, the detail that's put into it, it looks on. Yeah, maybe it is a fox. I don't know. Fox, bunny, who knows? It's a midget. Bunnies are maybe midgets. There's loads of these in the line. You're right. All right, it's a fox. Okay, so yeah, Matt says it's a fox. Matthew says it's a fox. Either way, still doesn't change the fact that Anya hates bunnies and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But now all I see is Star Fox. Someone has to paint him in the Star Fox color, and you got Star Fox. So again, I know Matthew was really excited when he saw this, the whole wave, and I hadn't even seen it. And then I went and looked at it, and I was like, "Oh man, like yeah." J.I. Jetman says, "My two biggest regrets: I didn't fund the Rattler, and I didn't fund the Dragon." The Dragon or the Dragonfly? I don't know where anyone. I don't know where anyone is putting that fucking dragon. Of course, I have an aircraft carrier, so who am I to talk? Quip says, "Do a barrel roll." I love the N64 Star Fox game. So much fun. Was it? No, not the 64. The GameCube. I think that was the one that I had. The GameCube one. Absolutely loved it. Okay, the Dragon. Yeah, the Dragon is awesome. I don't justify, or I don't try and question what people spend their money on, but I do like to know, like, how big of a space do you have to put that everywhere? But yeah, so here's everything that comes with this guy. And again, if you're getting the Snowcat, you may want to just order all this stuff just so you can have more of a snow accessories to go with everything. Again, I think this is awesome, but that's just me. Not everyone wants this. Look at this. I mean, this guy's just in here cooking. You could be hanging out with Flint and Lady J. They're cooking together with some little fox. They're like, how do we find a fox in the Arctic here? Matthew Matson. So if you want an awesome camping set with a bunch of figures, the Mythic Legion set is greater than the Snowcat. I guess it depends on what you like. Because I still need to get somewhere. Right? I don't want to ride horses. I'd rather ride in the nice, warm Snowcat. But that's just me. All right. So here's the Ishborn polar bear. Now, I think most people knew when they did a bear, there was no way it was the only time they were going to do it. Now they've turned him into a polar bear. So now I can, now when I get really bored, I can wait for the Snake Eyes polar bear 2-pack to come out, and I can hop on into, like Mythic Legions chats and watch them argue and say how much better their bear looks than the classified one, even though it's more expensive than a 2-pack of figures. But their bear does look awesome, man. Like, this thing does look awesome. So you can see exactly how big it is. the Mythic Legions are built on a 7-inch scale, so a little bit bigger than the classified figures. So you can see exactly how big this bear is. But again, we also don't have the classified polar bear yet either to see how they actually match against each other. But I can see a lot of people getting this to go with their Snowcat. Matthew says the bear looks awesome. I want to see him fight Snake. I want to see him fight Snake Eyes Bear. Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna make pictures of that? So I guess here they are side by side. They're regular bear. As you can see, they're just regular repaints. But I don't, again, it's like they're horses, man. Their horses are so fucking good. And again, they're big horses, but you can throw a classified on it and they look awesome. So there it is, screaming or yelling, ready to eat something. We got the Shark 110 jumping in here. Says the polar bear looks like a guy in a suit when it's standing up. He does. and it's funny coming from a guy that his profile picture is a shark standing up that looks like a guy in a shark suit standing up. I'll just Cobra Emperor says, you did amazing tonight, Punk, and you earned the right to call me Mr. Asshole. I earned that right a long time ago. Always fun, but for real, everyone should have a chance to get it months down the road pre-ordered. Then it's not an exclusive. Seriously, when I hear like this is an exclusive, but it's going to be available when we get back from this festival, and you're like, that's not a fucking exclusive. The Pop says, man, it really does. I think I can see the zipper. I am interested to see it against the classified polar bear, because I know people had already commented saying how, the Mythic Legions bear looks so much better than the classified. Like, first off, the prices are just two different categories, for one thing. But also, man, I've seen the Mezco, the Mezco wolf timber, and I don't think it looks nearly as good as the classified one. And you're paying way more for that with that Snake Eyes. And I think Matthew, he agreed the exact same. So it kind of reminds me of like when Roman stands up. Like when Roman, like, he sits up on his butt. But yeah, this is this is one of those things that this kind of makes me laugh now that I cannot not see that there's there's a person standing up there. That's we all ask the same question with the Snake Eyes, that you need a Coke bottle. Now, what is funny about that, at least for me, is that one of those dioramas that I got came with a Coke bottle. So thank you. I'm gonna have to keep that in the back of my mind when I get that Snake Eyes and polar bear. So here it is, polar bear. No need to be scared of this guy because it's just a man in the suit. And let's see who we got here quickly. We have Cobra Commander jumping in here. That's for the Snowcat display. Oh yeah, but you got two different. What's cool is you have two different looking polar bears now. That's what's actually pretty cool. Dominic Johnson jumping in here saying, "Hey, Pumpkin Chat, what would be a line that is comparable to G.I. Joe Classified?" It would be Operation Monster Force, or anything that Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing, or the Valaverse. Those are the two lines that are comparable. Obviously, there is way more Valaverse out there if you are interested in that. Krusty says Marvel Legends. I don't think so because it's not military, and you don't get as much stuff. But I would say the Operation Monster Force stuff, stuff like this guy here, you get a lot of accessories, a lot of hands, or Valivers. But I wouldn't say Marvel Legends because it's completely different. It's not military. I think I assume you were asking about like military wise. All right, so here's the polar bear doing the wave. It looks like he's at a sporting event now doing the wave. Graph says 5.5 Moke 2 is almost identical. So let's see if I can find this. Okay, let's get. So here's the different heads. Now it would be cool if it just had an articulated jaw, which I don't think that it does, as they give you different head options. So now we get to this, and I'm pretty sure this is why Matthew was excited. Matthew loves his werewolves, and Matthew, this thing looks really awesome. And Tech says it don't look as good standing up. I agree with you, but with that said, I don't really. Well, I guess bears do stand up, but like that's not really how you think of them too much. But now that I'm thinking about it, I guess you kind of do. I guess they do stand up a lot, don't they? They're not always walking on all fours. But this guy is awesome. So he is built on the bigger buck. What buck is this, guys? I know there's some Mythic Legions guys and here's some Four Horsemen guys. This one's built on the brute scale. That's what it is, the brute scale. And this looks awesome because he is standing up more. He's standing up. I'm looking over at one right now, a little bit more proper than I think we've seen some of the other figures. But this one is awesome. I can't say Skeletron because they don't have enough yet. They don't even have 1 6-inch figure out yet. But they have a chance to. Is it ogre? I thought they said it was brute scale, not ogre scale. But again, I could be. I'm not saying. Believe me, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Matthew. Don't take that. This thing looks awesome, though. It does look. It looks better than the Operation Monster Force one, and it's about the same price too. So this is the big bad, big bad guy. He comes with the muzzle here. You got the open jaw, the bone sword. It looks like a femur sword. So, and again, looks really fucking awesome. And yeah, I want this whole wave, but I can't. And now, oh my god, the big bad wolf. And you know what? Operation Monster Force has that fucking Red Riding Hood. Oh my goodness. Tripwire 788 says I might have to buy 10 of these to attack my Joes and Cobra. I'll tell you what, that's probably been like the most fun as an adult collector is again starting to do any type of photography or dials and mixing and matching this stuff. Yeah, Quip says, yep, need a red to display them. Well, Operation Monster Force has that Red Riding Hood coming out, and she looks, I mean, I'm already going to get it once it comes out. But that might be not for 5 years. But then again, who knows how long these might come out. Soul Brother number 1 jumping in here saying, what's good, Lawrence? Please, 93 people, please hit that like button if you haven't. Also, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm. And, hey, we're on our way to 8,000, if you can believe that. So here we go. I think we're almost done. I cannot believe that I didn't have any pop-ups because I had all kinds of pop-ups when I was trying to save these pictures. So what is it? Garmier, $80. So I believe it's does that make it? I think it's a $90 price point. If you don't get it now, because I think $80 is what they're charging right now. And Matt O'Brien, member for 23 months. So you're gonna get a
Fucking Phil Collins.
poor Phil Collins. What do you ever do but make music with Genesis? But yeah. So here's the whole wave. So you can see the difference in the scale. So again, it is hard to justify that these two little ones are also $42 right now, along with the two regular size figures, which are also $42. Even at that size, they're not 1/18 scale. They are based on the 112 scale. They're just shorter figures, just like any walk. So, but if you want this, if you're all in on Mythic Legions, this is the time to get it. All right. Because you're never going to get them at a cheaper price. This is the cheapest that you're ever going to get them, but you have to pay for it all up front. And you're going to be waiting 12 to 18 months to get it. And that's one of the biggest, the biggest downfalls. But I'll tell you what right now, and I mentioned it earlier, if Classified did this, if Hasbro did this, where they said, hey, you know what? Here's the whole wave. It's not going to be ready for a year, but you're going to get it a little bit cheaper. If you pay for it up front, I do it because I know I'm all in. So, Pop Blender saying, what an asshole that Phil Collins is making hit after hit after hit. How dare he? I know. Fucking Phil Collins. All right. So there you go. That's the last promo picture of it. So, whew. All right. Now I can remove that. I should get rid of that completely. And I can also take a little bit of a breather because I definitely need to. So, just so you know, there's a guy that's in our chat right now, Pop Blender, and my moderator who also do a show tomorrow. Now, I've been waiting for another commercial, one a little bit longer, but I haven't gotten one. So what I'm going to do is play that one.
What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provided in the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching pop culture news discussions and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode. And hit that bell.
Introducing Hasbro's all-new motorized battle tank, the Mobat. It can go forward and over things. It can make tight turns so when Cobra is behind him and he needs to turn around. It has reverse so when G.I. Joe needs to retreat. G.I. Joe even has a tow hitch so when you want to tow things like the Hell and Grand Slam. And when you want to get there very, 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 there's Grand Slam now waving to the crowd. Almost there, guys. There we go. G.I. Joe Mobat comes with everything you see here, including Steeler action figure with a and Scotch tape to hold the battery compartment closed. All right, so I think that's the perfect segment to go into a perfect commercial to go into the Haslab and to kind of a little discussion about whether or not this is the right one. If they pick the right thing to do, because I'm online like most of you, and we hear people kind of complaining about it. But quickly, Chad and jumping in saying just became another YouTube member.
Welcome to the creamery.
You get a, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that is a toy member. I wish I could give you a little bit more, guys. That's why I throw out all those classic reviews. They go up pretty quickly. So, Toy Matrix jumping in here. I'm amazed how many people are still showing up. How many people are still showing up at the end here? And Matthew said that was messed up. Hold on, I want to see it again. Introducing Hasbro's all-new motorized battle tank, the Mobat. It can go forward and over things. It can make tight needs to turn around. It has reverse, so when G.I. Joe needs to retreat, G.I. Joe doesn't retreat. Total things like the Hell and Grand Slam. And when you want to get there very, very, very slowly. Hey, look. Almost there, guys. There we go. G.I. Joe Mobile Steeler action figure with accessories. Batteries and scotch tape to hold the battery compartment closed come separately. All right. So I just watched it over here. I know StreamYard is having issues. That they said that they're having issues with specific. I know when I logged in, it said they were having issues with specific web browsers, and then they had like every web browser on it. But can you hear me? That's my biggest thing. So Matthew, I know you texted me. Can you actually hear me, or am I? Because I don't think anyone said it yet. But I could see with the video because I watched it. I wasn't watching it before. It was super choppy. So I guess I'll have to look into that and see exactly if it's a StreamYard thing. I don't think it's supposed to be me because it's not showing that I have any issues with what's going on here. So, all right. Just plain yogurt said that it was me, but yes, a bit choppy. Well, hopefully we can make it work. Again, StreamYard did say that they were having issues and they made a bunch of changes, but I'm not showing anything wrong right now. Like it's not showing me I'm having bad whatever it's called, a bad signal. All right, so we have 167 votes right now. People, 48% saying they love the Haslab. 16% want the Mobat. 14% said the Mauler, and then 23% said screw your Haslabs. So I guess this is where I'm a little confused. That it seems like there's a lot more people bitching about it than in the past. And I have heard people also going, having a remembering things or misremembering things and how they said I didn't want the Dragonfly, or people trying to say the Rattler didn't fund that quickly. Yeah, you may want to go back and relook at some stuff. But anyway, going into the Haslab, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. And did the G.I. Joe team make a mistake going with the Snowcat? Now, personally, I think the Snowcat looks awesome. I know people are going to say, wow, that's shocking. You're just a Hasbro shell. And that's fine. You can say whatever you want. Okay, I'm not reading everything, but I say, after all, he is Mexican. And they just made me laugh, Woody. So I do think the Snowcat looked way better when they showed it off. And it's definitely beefed up, and it's beefed up because they have to justify it. Now I'll say it again, man. The Haslab is. All right, hold on. I need this really quick. The Haslab, in my opinion, what makes it a dream project is adding the lights, adding the kitchenette that's in it. I call it a kitchenette. You call it whatever you want. Giving it an option to be a troop carrier. Now, I did see. I believe it was Robles. Is that how I forget what it is? He basically he did a mock-up and said if they were going to do a troop carrier, they should at least give you like a canopy to go over. And I'm actually in total agreement. That's probably something they should do. But cost, again, I know everyone thinks that they don't need to work in the cost, but they do. That's one of those biggest things. So, quickly, Etel86 says, Mr. Punk, we do a kickflip if you had a certain amount of viewers, maybe for the culture. At this age, at this time at night, I don't do kickflips out of nowhere. It'd be kind of a mess. I can always do one on the weekend, but I can't do one right now if that's what you're asking. So anyway, love your shirts. Just kidding. No, hey, you know what? I'm cool. Oh, my shorts. Okay. I was trying. I'm like, was I wearing shorts? And are you really looking at my shorts that much? And then I realized you meant my shorts as in like video shorts. But again, I think I said from the beginning, I think doing a snow vehicle was a risk, and I think it's kind of showing that it is kind of a risk. Now there are people that feel like this thing is not going to fund. It is less than 1,500 away from funding. And I think once it hits that first tier, it is definitely going to jump up. People are going to want to get that. They're going to want to get that cover girl. Not cover girl, the Lady J. And then once you hit the bivouac, that's what people want to get. Once you have, Lady J, and you're that far from getting Flint, people are definitely going to want to get that. So I don't think it's going to be an issue hitting off, all four or the three extra tiers, four all together. But yeah, it's. I think it's going to hit everything, and I don't think it's going to be a big issue. But what I do want to talk about is if they made a mistake. So this is what we're getting, right? This is your base model, and you're going to get a Snowcat, and you're going to get Snow Job. And this is my Snowcat, and I thought they did a good job. They did give the windshield wiper, and again, according to what people is, they're not super happy about it. It is okay. So let me ask you: is the sound really that bad right now? I mean, if you can't hear me, then I'll have to try and do something. You know what? Let's try something really quickly. Don't go anywhere. Just stick around. I'm going to restart this quickly. Oops. Let's see here. All right. So let's see if this works a little bit better. Right here, studio instability issues. The latest version of some browsers, for example, Chrome, Edge, Firefox. Are there other ones? Seem to have introduced a conflict that is causing studio instability with using virtual backgrounds or touch-up of appearances. I'm not using any of that. So it definitely is. I mean, I'm watching over here and it's definitely choppy. So I went from, using Edge. Now I'm on, now I've switched over to Firefox. So they're having issues, which is great that they raise their price and then they can't get their shit to fucking work. So great. Okay. Well, again, like, as long as people can hear me, but again, it kind of worries me that they're skipping. All right. Everything's good now. Let's see if we can make this work. All right. I can see that people are dropping off and they're probably like, this is really awful. So let me find it because now I have to reload everything quickly. There's my Haslab slides. If you missed the beginning, this was for, Darren had sent this stuff over. There's my file card that he made with me and Roman. So, all right. So this is this is what we got. And again, I think we've all seen it. But the things that I've been hearing, of people complaining about the figures. And they're like, you know what? It would have been better if we would have got figures like this, an Iceberg and Blizzard, and maybe like, my custom, Snake Eyes, wearing Snow Job's outfit. Again, I wouldn't really call it a custom. It's just me put a Snake Eyes head on it. Now, listening to this makes me laugh because no one wants main characters like a Frostbite behind a paywall. Yet now I'm hearing that people are mad about it because that's what they wish they would have gotten. And why would anyone want another Lady J in a Flint? Well, I don't. They're in, they're in the Arctic. So Will R, I agree. I think Quinn would have been good. Ice Cube and Blizzard should be main. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like they should be mainline. People would have been mad if they were in, if they would have been back behind a paywall, right? So, but I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of people online say that, no, this should have been back there. And I disagree 100%. And I think most logical people would agree. Now, I'm backing it. So what do I care? Like, I'm backing it. And I'm assuming it's going to hit all the tiers. So I don't really care if these main characters are in it. But I also understand why you really wouldn't want it, right? But this is kind of what people are saying. Hey, we should have gotten this. This would have been better. And I disagree because, again, Patrick says, Punk, do you think we'll get another 118th Haslab anytime soon? And you're never going to make everyone. You're absolutely right about not making everyone happy. And they're done with 118 scale, at least for the foreseeable future. Classified is what they're looking at. They are not trying to do anything like that. They're not trying to, go back to that well, because that's the reason why they've allowed Super 7 to do it. What I think would be awesome would be a Transformers G.I. Joe Haslab of Optimus Prime as Optimus Prime transforming into the 118 scale. I don't think they'll do it, but they should. Tesla Super Destination saying, wish they would make Tiger Force Blizzard. We'll get this Haslab though. No complaints. Yeah, and again, like, so people, again. So this is what they, they gave us the Snowcat, but we started hearing this. Like, I wanted the Mobat. Now, again, I kind of talked about the Mobat before, and the Mobat is a one-seater. And I know people say, well, no, technically there's a hatch. But here's the issue with doing the Mobat, right? You look at the Mobat, which is not as iconic as the Mauler. I don't care what anyone says. The the problem with the Mobat, and if you do it differently, people complain and say that it's not a Mobat. So if they did it where it kind of looks like the ramen, then they're going to complain. This is an experimental. This is based on an experimental tank, if I'm correct. I was just listening to somebody talk about it. So I've heard people say that they want this. I've also heard people say they want it motorized. Dude, this thing took two D batteries to run it, and it was super slow. I don't want 4D batteries in any of my vehicles, or C's for that matter at this point. But this is one of those things where if they did a Mobat, it's gonna be more like an Abrams opinion, because this isn't that large, and they'd have to do a lot of refitting to work stuff in it. Do I think we'll get something like this? I do, because they want to get through that original, the original line. They're just taking their time because they don't need to rush it at all. Quip says Mobat isn't much of a display piece. The other figures would be hidden inside, not on display. That's another thing. But again, if you make it so figures hide inside it, I think people will be mad. It doesn't look like the Mobat. Exactly. Woody says, I'm good with Ace's Mauler. I know people would still buy a Hasbro one, but I feel they missed the window. I don't think so. And the only reason why I say that is because there's people that are just buying classified. They don't buy Valivers. They don't buy Operation Monster Force or Fresh Monkey Fiction. They don't buy aftermarket stuff. So when you look at how many tanks, and I'm talking about all the colors added together that Ace made, it's not even going to touch how many, and not even come close to how many hisses were made. So I think you'd have the exact same thing when it comes to backing this. But we heard people say they want this, and then we hear they wanted the Mauler. So my personal feeling is that if they did the Mobat, it would look more like a Mauler, which is based more off an A1 Abrams. Obviously, you can see you can hide the figures in here. We've already seen how Ace opens his up, and one of the biggest issues is Ace is doing it. So there would be those people that would compare it, and if it's not on the same scale, wise, people would complain that, hey, you know what? Why would I buy this? Now I know I just said people will only buy, one. They're only going to buy classified, and that's true. Woody, these are not your mud flaps. Yours are on the back. And I finally did clean it. But don't worry. When I do the review, I'm definitely going to give you props because I needed those 2 mud flaps. But I finally got around to cleaning them today when I took this picture. And I got to say thank you once again, Woody, because, you know how frustrating it is when you're missing, it's one thing when you're missing a bunch of pieces off something, but when you're only missing 2 little pieces, oh my gosh, it's very, very frustrating, right? But so this was another one, and I think that this is more iconic than the Mobat. I think this is way more iconic. It's also a way better tank. All right. Would anyone agree? Would everyone agree? The Mauler is 10 times the tank the Mobat is. And I think that if they did this, they'd want to make it so you could they could redo one later on. But they kind of missed their opportunity. And if they continue to follow it, we're looking at 2 years down the road before we get a tank. So technically 3 years before we get an actual tank. But I think, this is what a lot of people said they wanted. And my question is, at what point do they complain that they're not getting the tank they want? Or if they do get the tank that they want, they're complaining that it doesn't look like the tank they want. Again, people are going to complain. This is kind of where, the poor G.I. Joe team, and I say that, the poor G.I. Joe team, they're making toys that everyone wants. So, but yeah, they can't be too mad about it. Let's see here. Hasbro needs to crank out an armadillo with heavy metal at the sticks. That's something I could see definitely happening. See, I disagree with this. The Mauler is still that's my favorite tank. In my opinion, just still my favorite one. And I'm with you. Like, I would buy them all too. One of the reasons why I've kind of stayed away from the ramen stuff is just I don't have the space. I don't have, it's a lot of money. I don't have the space. So it's easier knowing that certain things are going to come from the Hasbro team. Same with that Eagle, Air Eagle. It looks awesome. But I believe that Classified will come out with a Skyhawk. Final Tribe jumping in here saying Haslabs are for dream projects, so where's the whale or hydrofoil? Well, they're only doing one a year. That's another thing you have to remember. Like, they're only doing one a year. And I don't want two a year. I don't want two a year. So, it takes time to get through it. I think that's what people don't realize, man. Like, they got a lot of time, so, but yeah, it's going to take time. And I thought the whale would have been perfect. And I talked about that before. So this was one of the things. And then the other one, and I know a lot of people wanted this, was the Havoc. And this makes me laugh because there are people that are saying, hey, you know what? This G.I. Joe team, they don't know anything about military. Why don't they hire someone? If you can show me in the books where any military that isn't a cartoon uses something that looks like this, then I would say, you know what? Fire the team right now. The last time I checked, G.I. Joe is a little futuristic. They're not really realistic when it comes to military now, are they? I mean, these big laser cannons and a guy that sits up on top and just lets people shoot them, and then you have a driver that's encased behind glass that can just be like shot right through, and he looks like, come on. So but this is another one that a lot of people wanted. Now, again, this is very iconic and it's very large. This thing is larger than the Snowcat. It also has a little, I can't call it a plane, but a hovering device in the back. The missiles, this whole thing kind of comes apart, when it opens up. So there's all this, cool stuff. And I know that some people kind of did talk about this. And Low Dragon says, and the missiles that you have to turn the vehicle 180 to fire. I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed that the missiles were always on backwards. But yeah. Now, if you guys are saying, did this guy just throw in these pictures to show you that he has all four of these fully complete? Yes, I kind of did. It's a nice way to show off my collection. But in all honesty, this is the thing that people were complaining about. If I really wanted to, I could have thrown in the whale too. But I think, we've had a lot of people that were complaining and they're saying they want stuff like this. So do you guys think that they missed the mark? Do you think that they should have gone with something like the Havoc? Now, yes, I am definitely I'm definitely flexing. Hey, if you have this stuff complete, don't you want to show it off to people that can appreciate it? Yeah, and it's all about me. You're absolutely right. Pop Blender says the Havoc is realistic. The Snowcat isn't, because G.I. Joe is real. Damn it, it's real to me. Why can't y'all see that? The tripwire says the missiles were backwards because it's such a slow turret. It has to shoot backwards and stuff to get away. What about the fact of the matter is, it has these big 2 laser cannons that the whole vehicle has to turn to fire. Like, they can't aim anywhere. Sorry, guys. Jeremy Renner enters the chat. Let me tell you how real the Snowcat is, yo. Better than the ferret missiles. Well, it's funny because, you know, the people today that are anti-classified, they hound everyone, you know, the whole team. But what about like the stuff that it's designed after? You're right, that those ferret missiles were made a long time ago. Yeah. Are you talking about the one that went up? I got one at Joe Fest. Almost complete. If you're talking about that one. And then some guy yelled and said that it's a guard shack. You common people. He said you civilian. I can't believe you civilians don't know what a guard shack is. We're civilians. We don't know. So anyway, I was just wondering if you guys think that they got it right, because it is taking time for it to fund. And again, it sounds kind of stupid when we say that because we know how it goes at the end of this. You know, we know how things will boost, and this thing is going to fund. You know, it's less than 1,500 away. If I go and look right now, what are we sitting at? It's at 6,571. So under 1,500. You know, people take their time. I don't know why. You know, again, you're not getting charged for this. Even after it funds, you don't get charged to the end. So if someone's gonna back it, I don't know why they wait. Other than, you know, they feel they have that power. Tripwire says if it funds, if it's funds, a win is a win. They'll take a victory lap. Oh yeah, exactly. And Tripwire says they only have to get 201 backers a day to get the 1,400 for all the tiers unlocked. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be a problem, to be 100% honest. But this right now is giving the naysayers every reason to say, see. And again, going back to what makes a Haslab the dream project is all the lights, is all the battery, you know, the lights and everything like that. The slide out stuff. You could do this for $125, $150. There's no doubt about it. Would it sell? I mean, I'd buy it. Yes. Woody would buy it. Yeah. But how many people wouldn't buy it? You know, this is an investment because they don't really go down in price. You can hold on to the value. And the fact is, like, it really does, you know, it is a dream project in that sense. It might not be a dream project because it's not huge, but they talked about it wanting to be a centerpiece. And, you know, you can use it as a centerpiece. The Dragonfly and the Rattler are awesome. They hold 2 people. You know, the Hiss, it holds inside of it, you know, 3 people. You can fit people on the back. So yeah, that's awesome. But it's definitely one of those things where, you know, that's why I said I think a whale would be awesome. It holds so many it holds so many figures. It is large, so even though it takes up so much room on a table, that thing's not fitting on a shelf. It have to fit on a table. You can still fit figures inside of it, and by doing that, you do have a wonderful display piece. That's your centerpiece to everything. And let's jump in, and I want to say hi to Legend Series, who's always great to have in here. If you're not following Legend Series, please head on over there. Give him a follow. He's an awesome guy. I don't say that about everyone. I say it about some people, not everyone. Anyway, yeah. So it's definitely, again, I always thought it was going to be a risk doing anything with the snow as a Haslab, but um, yes, the whole thing is the dream project. I think again, and I'm assuming that's what you're trying to say, and I don't think people look at that like that. Like the whole thing is a dream project. Um, Liquid Identity says saving my money for the Moray next year, right? No, the Moray will not come till at least in. Again, I don't know. I don't know if 3 Star has hacked your account, Liquid Identity, and so he's trying to go under the radar because he knows what I'm going to say. The reason why I say the Moray can't come is because G.I. Joe doesn't have anything to battle the Moray. They have the Devilfish. They have the hovercraft, right? But that would have to be a Haslab. So the Haslab, I'm sorry, but the hovercraft, the whale, you could do for 120, for about 100, maybe 125, you could do the water moccasin. It's smaller, but it's still big enough to combat the whale. And at the same time, you could also do a Devilfish to combat that. G.I. Joe doesn't really have anything that's iconic, all right? That's iconic to battle the Moray other than the whale. So that's the reason why I don't think that it would come. And I think that next year, if we don't get the Thunder Machine, I believe that's going to be the next Haslab. I know people are going to say Lenny said it doesn't need to be. He did. He also said that the Snowcat doesn't need to be a Haslab, but it is. And again, I've given you my idea on why I think the Thunder Machine would be a great Haslab. You make it so it has a different front end, different guns, a different jet engine. So you could buy 2 of them and make 2 different versions. You have the Thunder Machine, and then you have something else that you want to call it for the Dreadnoks, right? So you can mix and match all kinds of stuff. Those are not just your tiers, but that's kind of your base model. And there's a lot of off-the-wall Dreadnoks that you could use. Now, with all that said, they could drop a the Thunder Machine for $150 with Thrasher. They also know that they risk that it doesn't do that well. And then Hasbro comes back to them and goes, see, you're not doing that well. You told us to buy anything. Well, that's one of those things. So, let's see here. Tripwire said, I'm pretty sure they said the Thunder Machine is coming. They've never said that. People run with that. What was said was during an interview, they asked Lenny, and Lenny said, I don't think that it has to be a Haslab. He didn't say that it wouldn't be. He said, I don't think that it has to be. And Matt O'Brien said, mid-sized vehicles are not dream projects. Again, I think people I think that people see dream projects and they assume that dream project means the size of it. It's everything that goes into it. And that's how you have to look at it, right? And again, it's not about me saying, oh my God, this is great or whatever. You have to take yourself out of you and say, how does Hasbro and the G.I. Joe team look at it? And if they look at it as, hey, you know what? The dream project is we're giving it lights. We're giving it this kitchenette thing. We're making a diorama. There are people in here that could care less about the diorama aspects of it because they don't take pictures. They're going to stick it on a shelf or they're going to try and resell it. Me, on the other hand, I love it. I love the fact that I can take pictures with it. I love the fact that as soon as that thing hits, I'm going to fucking open up Instagram and I'm going to see guys like Emerald Knight having amazing fucking photography with all those guys around it, probably with some of those Mythic Legions shit, right? Like that's the stuff that we're gonna see. You know, that's where like there's just that thing. So Tony, yeah, you disagree, but okay, but so far, you know, 2 of the vehicles have been mid-size, so I guess you're wrong. And the Rattler wasn't huge. The original Rattler wasn't huge, nor was the Dragonfly. So 4 Haslabs, 4 Haslabs, none of them have been the big vehicles that you got with a Real American Hero. So maybe everyone else is thinking the Dream Project is different than what everyone wants it to be. Did anyone ever think of that? They were fairly long. Well, the Rattler's actually not that long, to be honest. It's not. The Dragonfly seemed like it is because of the blades and everything. The Sky Striker is much bigger. The Whale, the size, the thickness, the height of it, much bigger. Same with the Night Raven. Those are large vehicles. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, everyone has a different feeling. And again, all that I'm saying is that maybe everyone has been looking at what they think of a dream project and not looking at how the G.I. Joe team and how Hasbro sees their dream projects. G.I. Jetman says, can we still get a Tomahawk because we got a Dragonfly? I don't think so. I think the Tomahawk would be so big. I mean, it's already original. Like the original one's big. That would have to be so big to be a personnel carrier. And again, Lenny talked about it, and I've mentioned this numerous times, that the O-ring figures, because of the width of them, it was easier to fit them in side by side. When it comes to the classified, they're just bigger and bulkier. They're not human, so they're not real flesh. So there's no really pushing up against each other. I think we're going to see the same issue when they do when someone tries to use the Snowcat as a personnel carrier. Lenny said you kind of have to zipper their legs. It's going to cause all kinds of issues. So, but anyway, Tony says Hiss was big, Dragonfly is big, Snowcat big. Okay, but the original ones were. What I'm saying is the original ones. I'm not saying what they gave us isn't large. I'm saying that the original vehicles were considered mid-sized vehicles. That's all that I'm saying. I know that what they did is, I know that they enlarged it, you know, to make them big. I have no problem with it. I mean, sometimes I feel like Tony's just arguing to argue right now. Now, I'm saying the originals weren't that big. No, I believe me, I saw side by side how big that fucking Snowcat is. That thing is fucking large, and people are mad that they made it bigger. No, yeah, no, I was no. What I was saying, yeah. God, buddy, there's nothing wrong with mid-sized. No, I was trying to say the original ones, what they were based off of, were the mid-sized vehicles. You're right. Like the Hiss is not a mid-size. Like the classified Hiss is not mid-size, and that Snowcat is anything but mid-size. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the original vehicles were. Where the Mauler is not a mid-sized vehicle. It's wide, it's high. The cannon on it takes up a lot of real estate. So, but I think that maybe, you know, what people want their dream project to be. I'll say it again, like the thing that some people don't really take into consideration is if they want the line to continue on, right? Let's say they started, they went with the hiss, then they do the dragonfly, then they got the rattler, right? And then they come back and they're like, you know what? We're going to do this big full size mauler / Mobat, right? Well, after a while, when the next Haslab comes, people already right now are saying, I don't have space, so I have to back away from this. Understandable, right? Guys like me who are all in are like, hey, I'm running out of space. I need to start figuring out, how we're going to, how I'm going to justify this. I have time to think about it, but I've been saying that for a year, and here comes the Rattler. Well, I don't know. I still don't have a shipping order. I think the Rattler's coming. Where am I going to put it? I kind of made room for it, but I haven't made room for a Snowcat. I'll worry about that later. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Matt O'Brien says, I know Lenny said they were still making some changes to the Snowcat. Think we'll see any drastic differences or paint apps? No, not on that. Okay, so what Lenny said, is he's still tinkering with it. And I reached out to Lenny and I said, hey, one of the things that I always hated about the Snowcat and the Wolverine, the same thing, is once you ran out of missiles, this thing was defenseless. And I go, you already have the 50 cals. Why not put 250 cals on both sides of the rocket launchers, right? And just pop them on the side. You already have it. All you need to do, again, the mold's already done. And he said that's a great idea. He said, I'm still looking into some things, but I don't know if budgetary wise it can be done. That's the biggest thing. They still have a budget. This is what the price point is. There is a budget. Whether or not you guys or anyone wants to agree that there's a budget, Hasbro is not doing this because they're like, you know what? We just want to give back to the fucking fans. We don't even need to make a dime. Bullshit. They want to make their money. Everyone knows it. So no matter what you say, they have to justify their cost. Now, there is a now former Hasbro employee. He may have worked on the Marvel line. He was with someone that I know personally, and they said that they asked about the Haslab, and he said that when that Haslab hits whatever, like that first tier, that has covered every single tier going forward. So once they hit that, they're in the black. So even if let's say they only make it to Lady J, from all accounts, from what this ex-Hasbro employee was telling someone who I know, who I trust very much so, that they're already in the black. And they do it on purpose. I know I'm not the first one. It's not like I'm breaking any news. Other people have talked about this, and other people in the know in the business have also talked about this. This is what they do, and it's smart. Again, people can be mad all they want and say Hasbro is $1 billion company. Okay, there's a lot of $1 billion companies that just don't want to throw money away. That's how they stay. Rich people don't like to not get richer. That's just this how it is. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah. All the molds, everything has been paid for once it hits that tier. That's, so everything's covered. Then they're in the black. So, Matthew, yeah, I'm going to actually message Lenny. A few people, I know I mentioned it right away. A few other people have said the same thing. Yes, this needs to be a vinyl, like rather than stickers, these need to be vinyl decals for the canopy, not a permanent sticker, because that ruins your fucking, again, I hate the sticker sheets. I don't use the sticker sheets. All right. But yeah, it is one of those crazy things. See, this is where you have to talk about what's iconic. And I don't believe the General is nearly iconic enough. The G.I. Joe brand still isn't big enough. I mean, you still have people that are saying, I have no connection to this figure. And you're like, that figure was in fucking wave 6, right? Like, so, people are one of those, I think people want stuff. They want the ability to buy it, but most of them aren't even planning on buying it. I've been saying it for years. And again, I'm not the only one that says it. Tripwire says, a punk with toys, you buy them, review them, and I'll store them at my house. No, I'll figure out a way to store them at my own house. But you know what? A for effort. Because I've been telling people that same thing for quite some time. There's a lot of people that I'm like, hey, you know what? If you get it, you can just keep it in my house for a bit. And that's kind of how that portal potty ended up here. Gun Bunny, window shoppers are the most opinionated. You're absolutely correct. And they're the ones that like to spend Hasbro's money the most too. I'm with you 100%. Like, again, I'm going to buy it. I have been all in on the classified line. I absolutely love it. I mean, you can say what you want about me. I don't really care. I enjoy it. I have fun with it. You can see on my Instagram, I enjoy taking pictures with my figures. I like going places with my figures and doing stuff like that. But it is definitely one of those, people want stuff and they're not going to buy it. That's why those stingers, Amazon can't get rid of them. Right? That's why they go for $80 on Amazon, $70, I think they were down to. Hurricane Live says, I would LARP Joe outside every day. As a kid, I would have been gaga for patches. Bury me in a patch. Bury me in patches. I'm not sure. I saw LARP and I thought you were talking about. So I was gonna say that's a perfect exclusive right there. The LARP team that Tony and who else did the LARP? Ray Murphy. They've done that. Like, that's perfect. Like, that is that's a set that needs to be done. There were people actually saying that. What about a polar battle bear? Yeah, I don't think anyone wants that to be a Haslab. That is not a dream project. Live action role play. Okay. Well, you can't use that. You can't really use that one. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Long range reconnaissance. Okay. I'm not used to saying that. Anyway, doesn't really matter. And I'll say this right now. Stinger sold as well as they did because of what Gridiron did. Gridiron, making these accessories for people to change it around. That's why I have a second one, because I was able to put some Gridiron and some stuff from Plastic Fantastic. I was able to change some of this stuff up. But, that's just one of those things where you still see how many are sitting there. Because not everybody wants to spend $100 on a vehicle and then spend another $100 to $200 to arm it up. And again, the All Striker, I will say it again, the All Striker is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, because I think that they don't want to get stuck. They don't want to stick retailers with a whole bunch of these, because if you do it too many times, the retailer comes back and says, yeah, we don't want any. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of these Stingers are leaving a bad taste in people's mouths. People say they want stuff and they don't. All right. You can look at the Valaverse, Vanguard. Everyone wanted it, right? And he dropped it from 185 to 125. Now I know everyone's trying to tell me that has to do with how great the plastic is and great how great he got the price down. Bullshit. You have an accessory pack coming that if people don't have Vanguards, you can't fucking sell the accessory pack. So we better drop the price just so we don't have to eat it. All right. But it's the same thing. Keep those numbers down lower, and then you don't have to worry about it. See, and here's, I think that was your experiment. How well is the classified vehicle going to do? We keep the numbers low. Just hear me out on this. Keep the numbers low. We put the Vamp out there. It sold really well. Now let's do the Stinger. And we know that we have the Vamp Mark II, which might be more iconic, in all honesty, than the Vamp Mark I. I don't like it more, but it might actually be more iconic. The cartoon used the Vamp Mark II an awful lot, if I remember correctly. So, that's one of those, things. I think that's what their thinking was. Hey, let's see how the Vamp does. And the Vamp did very well, but there's only a limited amount. And they knew we're coming back with the Stinger, and then we have the Vamp Mark II to jump on if need be. And then in the end, they haven't come around. We're going to get a Vamp Mark II. I mean, that mold is going to get used again. The All Striker mold, once it comes, it's going to get used again. They are not, they're not doing that. Yes, 250, because I don't think they're going to do it again. Because you have that Vamp Mark II right there. And because everyone that bought the Vamp, they're also going to buy the Vamp Mark II, and more people are going to buy it. So why go back and actually do that? There's all kinds of different molds that they could use. So, I've actually never seen this video. I've heard about it, but I've actually never seen the video. I've actually never seen the video where he traded the Vamp for a couple figures. I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, I don't know. But, going back to the Haslab again, I don't know, maybe they picked the wrong thing. I thought it was going to be slow going. I thought it would have funded already. I'm not going to lie. I still think it's going to fully fund. But I thought that you definitely were going to have some issues, some kickback, because not everyone has snow, so not everyone cares about the snow vehicles. We'll see. In the end, I bet this thing's going to end up around 22,000 because FOMO. But you know what? I'm planning on getting a second one. My goal is to get a second one, and if there's less made, guess what? It's worth more money, because look at right now, man. People are already they had the FOMO about the Hiss, then they had the same thing about the Dragonfly, then they had the same thing about the Rattler. Exact same thing is going to happen, because when it starts hitting, every single Haslab so far has been awesome. All the G.I. Joe ones. People are going to, they're going to be upset about it. Tripwire says the Hooded Cobra Commander pisses me off. They won't make him, but they'll make the same thing. Okay, it's not the same, Tripwire. Okay. I can't express it anymore. It's not the same thing. Just because Hasbro makes it, it's still a Disney property that Disney kind of dictates what they need, what they can and cannot do. Do I think it's stupid and ridiculous that they haven't made a Hooded Cobra Commander? Yes. Do I think their reasoning is stupid? Yes. Do I think the Bonaventure is a fucking piece of shit? I do. And he's the whole reason. But it's Hasbro's property. They have the final say. Disney basically said, hey, this is what we want. This is what you can and can't make. So, it's somebody else controlling it. Tiger Force, I don't know. And I only say I don't know because I feel like they're almost done with the Tiger Force. Unless if they decide to go more into the Tiger Force and it not be a Target exclusive. So I don't know. I kind of hope not because I don't really care for Tiger Force. No offense, Gun Bunny. I know you love Tiger Force, but I'd rather not have a Tiger Force vamp. And Richard Burns says, I grew up in the desert and the Snowcat was one of my favorite vehicles. I think I want to say, I think Tony said the same thing. So there's a few people, and again, I only use that. I only reference, I only reference that because I don't know. I don't live in, a desert climate. So I don't know how people actually reacted to the Snowcat. With us, it didn't matter if it was desert because we had summer, we had fall, we had spring where there's a lot of dirt. So it didn't matter if it's a desert. We get all the, we get every single season. But it is one of those weird things. Cobra Commander says Punk refuses to hear the argument of Hooded Cobra Commander and Star Wars Hooded. Dude, it's not that I refuse to hear it, Cobra Commander. It's that I'm telling you the reason fucking why. I've already said it's stupid that they won't make it. It's even more stupid that they won't fucking say it. But why are we going to continue to argue something that this is the fucking reason? It's not hearing the argument. I already know what the argument is. It's like arguing with my kid when I already know what I'm going to fucking say. So why are we going to continue to go round and round and round and bang our head on the wall? It's one of those crazy things. Will R says, how about a Hooded Cobra Commander to police officer and cross country 3-pack? All right, that made me laugh. I'm sure someone has made it if they haven't already. I don't know if they're gonna make it. I don't know if they're gonna make it. That vamp has been used so many fucking times. That vamp, and I mean in general, the vamp mold, it has been used so many times by so many different companies. Hasbro can continue, Classified can continue to pump out shit like that. Hooded police officer confirmed. Again, it's not that I refuse to hear the argument. I just don't want to hear it because they've made up their minds as of now. It doesn't mean that it won't ever be made. I believe Matthew Matson was the one that actually told me that he heard Chris McLeod say that there might be a possibility that Hooded Cobra Commander is going to come. All it takes for Hooded Cobra Commander to be made is you get new people at the top that come in and go, that's the fucking stupid argument. It's funny because I think people think that I'm arguing that I believe it. No, I don't. I don't. I think it's a stupid argument. I think it's stupid that they haven't. But it got put in the minds of some of the guys at Hasbro that said, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Remember, these are the same people that allow Bonaventure to continue to make fucking movies and ruin them for them. So, that's a whole nother argument right there. So, just me arguing that this is how they think isn't me arguing that I agree with it. It so does not. All right. That could be a topic upon itself. All right. But I don't think I don't think there's a lot of common sense at a lot of these corporations, but again, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a billionaire. So, when you look at these independent companies that are run and owned by toy collectors and they're the designers, these are the guys that are saying, hey, I want to make a living doing this and I can own my own company. These head corporate guys, they're all about making millions of dollars. How does it pad their pockets? And if that means I have to let some people go, they're going to let some people go. That is corporate America, whether people like it or not. Matthew Madsen says, I think the very concept of corporations negates intelligence. In some ways, I agree. But yeah, it's just how it is, unfortunately. No, they did not. So really the only place that you can see the hood, the only place you can see the hood is in the cartoon that they play because they can't get rid of it. If I am correct, Matthew, you probably know. I should have asked Carson. Carson's book. So he did that whole G.I. Joe thing. One of the things that I was told that he was not allowed to do per Hasbro was they could not put Hooded Cobra Commander on the cover of the book anywhere. Now they could still use it because it is part of the lore. It is a character. It is a figure, but he could not be on the cover of it. And again, this is a third party that's doing it. There is a reason why I can't believe I have to fucking defend this guy. But Super 7, when they did their thing, they were said the one thing they were told they cannot do Hooded Cobra Commander. I was specifically told by an ex-Hasbro employee at Joe Fest last year, we were told no Hooded Cobra Commander. Okay, so Matthew says, I have the original slipcover with Hooded Cobra Commander. He had to be taken off of the official licensed art book omnibus. Exactly. So, and I said this before, an ex-employee that was at Joe Fest, you can probably figure out who it is. He said, hey, we were told they can't do Hooded Cobra Commander. This is the reason why. That color is used in with that specific group. Now, Allison Troy, I believe, has pictures of that color of those types of people. So it does exist. Though it is an executioner mask, it is not pointed. It is nothing like that. I was told that they scoured for like 2 weeks, could not find any pictures. They said, we can't find any pictures. What do you like? And they're like, you're not doing it. End of story. Drop it. That's from a Hasbro employee. And it's not like I was the only one he told. So, and if you look, Jada Toys also, when they did their little metal figures, the original 6 had Hooded Cobra Commander in it. People tried using that. Hey, look at that. They used Hooded Cobra Commander. You're absolutely correct. But when they had Cobra Commander come out with the Stinger, they changed it. Now, that's not just molding a new head and popping it on, right? They had to do a whole new mold. And when I asked this employee about it, he said to me, I don't really know anything about that. That I don't really know anything about that, but that's exactly what happened. They would not have remolded a whole figure to go with that unless they were told they had to. James O'Rourke says, we need an Arctic Hooded Cobra Commander. Anyway, well, that's like 3.5 hours, guys. You guys dealt with me through some technical difficulties, though I'm going to blame it all on StreamYard. I cannot take responsibility for anything that happens on my stream. It is all on StreamYard. Yes. Dark Ant. Yeah, Soldiers of Fortune have a blue hooded figure coming soon. Well, they have a blue figure coming. I like Bill at Fresh Monkey Fiction or Big Bad Workshop, whatever they want to go by. I like it. I like their product. I backed it. I'm not using the word soon with anything with Fresh Monkey Fiction. All right. And if you guys are watching, I apologize, but I'm also not doing that with Skeletron, and I sure the hell ain't doing that with Call Sign Longbow or Operation Recall. All right. Soon is not anything that I use for some of these companies, okay? Because nothing is coming soon when it comes to these smaller companies. So, but yeah, I guess that's it. I will be on tomorrow at 6:30 with the Circle of Jerks. You can watch it right here. There's 4 to 5 of us at times, sometimes 3 of us. Who the hell knows? And Boss Fight Studios, another one too. Yeah, these independent companies, they get bumped pretty easily. If Hasbro or Mattel wants their shit done, if they're being done, guess who's getting bumped? All the small companies. I think everyone knows it. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. Please, if you haven't, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, there's still 93 people watching. I think we hit like 110, something like that. Please hit that, hit that subscribe button. On our way to 8,000. No subs being bought here, unlike other channels. I'm just kidding. It's okay if you want to buy subs. It's just fucking really stupid. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Oh, wait a minute. Tony jumps in here, says member for 21 months. So you know what? You're going to quickly get a, if I can find it. It's somewhere here.
Fucking Phil Collins.
But I'm going to get out of here before you all start because I know what's going to happen. Take care. See you guys all tomorrow on the Circle of Jerks, 6:30. Tune in this Thursday, 9 p.m. Talib will be joining me as my special guest on Thursday with a friend. Take care.